What's up, y'all? We are live. Give me a second to get everything going. Uh-oh. There we go. All right. Let's see. James Sims, what's up, man? Thanks for joining in. WKRK9, thanks for joining in. We got Ashley Hernan in here. Looks like who else we got? Boom, Ashley Hernan, what's up? Thanks for joining in. I Putin 100. Man, I don't know how to say it. You need to jump on the live just so we can see how to pronounce your name. I Putin. But what's up? Thanks for joining in. What are your top 5 traits that are a no for you? Ooh, we're gonna get into that. Right now, first, what we're gonna do, we're gonna go through the topics, and I'm gonna make my way back through the comments, and plus have you guys join on the live. So I'll be posting the link to join on the live. Derek Hatfield coming in from East Tennessee. Shout out to Tennessee. What's up, man? Let's see who else we got in here. Jaquez Griffin, what's up, man? Thanks for joining in. Clutch City American Bulldogs. There you go. One of my closest homies goes by the name Clutch. David Carter, what's up, man? Thanks for joining in. We got Martin Hernandez. What's up? Thanks for joining in. Now, I am back on Facebook. Facebook had me restricted for 30 days as far as going live, so I'm back on Facebook. What we did find, what we all kind of found, was that it's easier to keep up with the comments that are on YouTube. So I will try to get to the Facebook comments, but it's just easier. For whatever reasons, they show up on StreamYard a lot easier. So, but we're going to go ahead and let's get started. If I miss your question that you're asking now, make sure to repeat your question when we get to the end of the live. That way we can keep up, make sure everything gets answered. But throw it in now, plus throw it in at the end of the live. Ray Garcia, thanks for joining in, brother. Hotep, what's up, man? Always in here. Thanks for joining in. And who else we got in here? We got a bunch of people joining in. So let's go ahead and let's get this going. I'll keep making my way through the comments. Let me get this shared out real quick. Actually, I don't even need to share it out. I'm not concerned with that. What I am going to do, though, is try to make sure that I have the other Facebook screens going so that we are on top of as many comments as possible. Make sure you check out Thrower Bullies on Instagram and follow us. Also, make sure you subscribe to Thrower Bullies on YouTube. Makes it a lot easier to keep up with the comments. Let me see. I need to open up another Facebook tab. Give me just a sec and we will get going. Couple things I did. Whoa, one thing I really wanted to speak on. There was somebody that hit me up. We actually talked on the phone, husband and wife. I was going to come out. You had a Presa Canario, I want to say a Cane Corso, and a Bully. I was going to come out to work with you guys on your dogs and some behavioral training and also perimeter training. You had a yard that had no fence. We had a long conversation about it. I was unable to make it, called you. We were supposed to reschedule, and then I cannot find your phone number in my messenger or in my phone. So if you are watching, hit me back. I've been looking for your number for almost a week, and I'm just bombarded with stuff, and I cannot find it. And then we have a big election going on, so I got all these phone numbers from spam and all kinds of stuff. So hit me back when you get this message. I've been trying to find you guys' number for I don't know how long, and I forgot both your names, so I apologize for that. I am bad with names. But hit me back so we can get that going, because I was supposed to come out and see you guys to work with the dogs, and I just cannot find your number. So anyway, hit me up again, and I did not neglect you. But I had work come up. We all got called back into the office, and what else? That was pretty much it. And I did have, my wife was ill, and By the time I got ready to get back to you to reschedule, I could not find your phone number. So one, I deeply apologize for that. That is not how I operate. And now I just cannot find your number in my phone or when I'm going through my messages online. I still have a bunch that I got to go back through. So hopefully it pops up, but I have not been able to find it. What else? Oh, so the lives, what we're going to start doing is I will go through the topics. If you have questions, you can post them. I'll try to get to them. But if you post them at the end of the live, when I post the link, that'll be better. Then I can get to all your questions all at once. As far as the live, I'm going to be trying to go through the topics and go back through the comments to kind of see your comments on the topics as we're discussing it. And I think that it might work a little bit easier and kind of get us through the lives a little more efficiently. Topics for today's live, what were they? Okay, so one was from Tony Moss. How does the black hole theory affect people crossing XL to standard? Also, which camps are producing the best examples of bully in the standard XL class? Another topic that I threw up was everyone in the Facebook community calls themselves a real dogman or a dogman. You hear that. I don't understand the fascination with being a dogman. It's a lot of turmoil that comes with it. So we're going to get into that. What's a dogman? Is your favorite breeder a dogman? And do you need to be a dogman to breed good dogs? We're going to discuss that. Jacquees Griffin posted, could you explain how to wake up dormant genetics? We'll get into that. I look at dormant genetics as traits. When you start getting into genetics, things get complicated. And then the fact that genetics are all random, when it's all said and done, it throws off whatever philosophy or theory you come up with based off what you're learning. So we'll discuss that, dormant genetics, and then, the Cesar Milan topic. So today we'll get into that first. So Ryan Sterling, my man, threw up. He said, apparently Cesar Milan's pit killed Queen Latifah's dog and attacked a gymnast. Not a good look for the bully community as a whole. It's not a good look for the dog community as far as a bully community. As long as they're calling it a pit bull, it's not that bad for us. The bully community has always tried to separate themselves from the pit bull in temperament and just about everything you could think of. But apparently, and shout out to Queen Latifah. Back in the days when I was young, we actually had a birthday. Her birthday is, I think, was a month after mine. And we ended up selling our birthday on the same night at a club I will not name because it is hedonistic. But we had a great time. I got in a lot of trouble that night. So just even the name Queen Latifah brings back funny memories. But we all had a good time that night, and it was a good time. Anyway, so apparently what happened is Cesar Milan's dog, I guess they're saying it was the dog he has, Junior, which is popular on his show, attacked a lady. She was a gymnast, apparently a young gymnast. According to her, it ruined her career. She's suing him, and she claims that the dog Junior also attacked Queen Latifah, one of Queen Latifah's dogs, and that Cesar Milan and his people tried to hide it and make it seem like it killed her dog, or supposedly killed her dog. And apparently Cesar Milan and his people tried to hide the fact that this took place and stated that the dog was actually hit by a car and that's how it was killed. It is what it is. I think one thing people lose the ability of doing nowadays is reading between the lines of the things that you see. One, if somebody is suing, we all know if somebody owes you $100, you take them to court, what's the first thing your attorney's going to say to do? Prove that somehow because they didn't give you that $100, you went through some type of suffering and blah, 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 blah. And next thing you know, that $100 is turned into $1 million. And hopefully the judge will come down from the million and give you $120. And now you got a $20 profit that you got to split with your attorney. That tends to be how lawsuits work, and especially when they hit the media, you want to make it as big and as dramatic as possible so that you can get the masses on your side. That influences the judges, and then therefore you get as much money as possible. So we all got to know that once a lawsuit is involved, a civil case, there's going to be a whole lot of exaggerations. As far as the breakdown of the situation, there really isn't one. All we know is that it was at his office. The girl's mom works there. The girl came to visit, which apparently she's done before. Visit her mom. I'm sure she also wanted to visit because I'm sure her mom has a home. So I'm sure she also wanted to visit Cesar Milan's facility, and came across Junior. She claims she got bit. I look at, y'all kind of know my attitude when it comes to dogs. Dogs is dogs. They do what dogs do. And a lot of the mistakes that are made are, when it comes to dogs, are made by us as people. And then you walk into some place that your mom works, she's comfortable. You came in there, not your first time, you was comfortable. And for whatever reasons, you're claiming the dog bit you, and you're claiming that that dog is Junior. And apparently he ruined her gymnast career. A lot of times when we find out in these type of situations that somebody's career was ruined, they weren't all that great in the first place, or kind of had reached a brick road. So it is what it is. Here's the thing that I tripped off of on the post is how many people jumped on that post bad mouthing Cesar as a trainer. And like I said in my comment, when Cesar came out, everybody, I was training dogs then. Everybody was before they even got into training, was watching his shows, trying to train their own dogs, running around at their dogs to get their dogs to stop doing things. When their dog didn't listen, they was flipping their dogs over. No training whatsoever, didn't understand why he was doing what he was doing. And then at some point, the training community, especially from Europe, which is always anti-America when it comes to dogs, at some point, the training community in Europe got big enough to spread their rhetoric over to America. And then Cesar became a bad guy, and that his methods of dominance training were not good. And now you got this positive training. Positive training has always existed in the dog community. That's nothing new. It was just something that you use with dogs that it worked on. Same thing with the dominance type style training, punishment training. You use those for dogs that it works on. So when people jump in the dog training community and they want to badmouth Cesar, the fact is most people nowadays wouldn't be into dog training if it wasn't for Cesar Milan. They saw him on TV, they got hyped up. His downfall came when he had a dog that he was working on because it was biting other animals or dogs, and he did a good job. He did a good job getting that dog accustomed to being around other dogs, being around other animals. He had the dog out with a pig. The owner came to visit the dog, and then the dog went after the pig as it was, playing with the pig or whatever it was doing. It bit the pig. Cesar Milan went in there to break it up, and the pig had a cut in the ear, and little blood was showing on the show. But he didn't edit the show. He didn't delete the show. He still showed it. And I think that's what you don't get from these other people. Like the lady in Victoria from England, she's whack. Everything she does is very well orchestrated. When dogs are too intense for her to deal with, her advice is that the dog needs to be put down or go to a home or go to another home. She's not hands-on, but she's got a loud mouth and she's willing to speak on. And trainers are finally starting to speak out against her. But she's a gimmick. And people like Cesar Milan who are hands-on and you get to see their mistakes. When you jump on these posts and you start bad-mouthing people that know more than you, that's just asinine to me. And I think people need to really kind of check themselves on social media because y'all get so caught up into expressing yourself. And I know that's a new thing in the world, where you just get to express yourself because there's platforms for you to do so. And like I've always said, the internet, social media has made it possible for dumb people to meet each other and feel smart and get their info out to other people who don't know any better. When I was young and there wasn't no social media, people didn't know nothing, kind of had to be quiet because you had to show and prove. And so therefore, or you had to at least sound somewhat like you knew what you was talking about, or somebody had to walk by that could say, yeah, I seen him do that, or I know he can do that. Whereas now people just get hyped up. You know, even when it comes to going lives, you see people going lives and they're talking and talking. They have limited subject matter. That's just the world we have. But as long as they keep talking about the same thing over and over, then it seems like they know dogs. It's the same way with these dog trainers. A lot of dog trainers are terrible at what they do, and it backfires on people, but they don't care because they got their money. And even I tend to, which I'm gonna stop doing because it costs too much money. It's like $3,000 for some, $6,000 for other. But I like to get back into the training academies and things, and just to relearn what they're teaching nowadays and the philosophies that they're pushing nowadays. And what I found is, I'm not gonna name the schools that I've completed, but what I found is in the last 5 to 10 years, a lot of the training methods are extremely focused on getting in and out, getting clients in and out, you know, rush. That's how treats blew up real quick. Yeah, it is. It does come in handy. Don't get me wrong when I say that. Same thing with e-collars. They do come in handy when you know what you're doing as a trainer. But a lot of people have lost the old school methods of training that were thorough, so that when I'm done dealing with you, if we have 3, 4, like most of my trainings are done, whether it's on phone or face-to-face, are done in a package. And part of the end of my package is that we're going to make sure that what we did has worked. When you show me a video, if we do it by phone and you show me a video and it hasn't worked, then we're going to find something new, and I'm not charging you for that. We're going to get it done because that's the objective. But I'm old school. A lot of these new trainers is getting people in and out, and then every time it doesn't work, their thing is, okay, well, it's because you're doing something wrong, so now I'll give you a discount, but they're still charging you. So and I noticed that with a lot of the training methods. Don't get me wrong, there are little things that I'm like, okay, I get that, that might work, but a lot of it is gimmicks to get as many clients in and out as possible, so that you can get to the next client and you can make as much money as you can as possible. So when people come on and they knock somebody like Cesar Milan, who is the inspiration to a lot of people getting pit bulls, bullies, getting into training, dealing with their own dogs different than what they did before he ever existed. And you get on and you knock people that know more than you. I think you really have to be careful. And that's why I brought up, you know, the same thing, you know, with you know, people that go live. If they can't talk about multiple subjects, then you know what good is it? You know what I'm saying? Unless they're entertaining. If they're entertaining, then cool. But you know, a lot of people, and that's why one of the things, and it was actually my cousin's idea. I never wanted to go live. But my cousin was like, you know, I started getting people hitting me up telling me you need to go live. I was invited on different lives, and my cousin was like, you need to do your own lives. And I was like, I don't want to be coming up with topics. And he was like, don't come up with a topic. Let the people bring up the topic. And that's why if you look through Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, I'm one of the only ones that does that. So, and it's the same thing when I look at a Cesar Milan. He's filming his show, and no matter whether it goes good or goes bad, he's putting it out there and he's showing the world so that everybody can learn from it and he can learn from it himself. So watch who you diss. Watch who you knock, watch who you disrespect, watch who you form strong negative emotions towards. Because a lot of what you like nowadays that has come out in the last 5 to 10 years is a gimmick. And a lot of people just don't realize it, whether it's breeders, trainers, whatever it may be. I'm going to get off of that topic. Let me check some of the comments real quick, and we're going to move on. H-Town, what's up, man? Thanks for joining in. Hotep, that's right, from East Texas. Steven, what's up, bro? Thanks for joining in. He said our favorite night of the week, Dog Talk Tuesdays. Thank you, man. What's up? I appreciate all y'all being in here. I think it's dope that it is growing. And you guys hit me up with questions. Some of you guys go in here and you know certain things about little different topics that I may not know or I may have not thought of. And sometimes I forget things. You know, because a lot of what I've been through when it comes to dogs, it was in the heat of the moment. And that's why we're going to get into the dogman topic and who is a dogman and what is a dogman, and is your favorite breeder that's on Facebook claiming they're a dogman? Are they a dogman? And why is the bully community so fascinated with this word dogman? So we're going to get into that. If you on Facebook, it's a lot easier if you just jump over to YouTube, Thrower Bullies YouTube, subscribe, jump in. It's easier for me to see the comments. Also, I know last week we had an issue. Somebody said I had it on some type of parental control or something where it wasn't letting people comment. It looks like it's doing cool. But if that's happening right now, let me know, so that I won't be able to fix it during the live, but I wasn't able to figure out how to fix it. I hit up my boy Robert McCormick with KTK Bullies. He gave me kind of what to look for. So I'm hoping it's fixed. It looks like it is fixed. Steven said also, I think it's a put on. I think you're talking about, damn, why did the comments jump like that? I think you're talking about with the training. That's another thing. Because we get behind, or I get behind as I'm talking, kind of let me know what it is you're talking about, what topic it is you're touching on when you're making your comments. That way we're all kind of on the same page. Rhodes, what's up, bro? Thanks for joining in. I'm going to post the link at the end so you can jump on. And that goes for all you guys, too. I'll be posting the link so you can jump on, show your dogs, bring up your topics, touch on the other topics we've touched on, whatever it is you want to do. Let's see. BTB Kennels, what's up, man? You up in here. Spirit, what's up, Betsy? Thanks for joining in. Beth B, can you talk about the Caesar BS? Yeah, I just spoke on it. Give Caesar his respect. Like I said, a lot of dog breeders wouldn't be in this game. If a lot of dog trainers wouldn't be training dogs if they weren't inspired by him or somebody that hates on him. A lot of people would not be owning pit bulls if it wasn't for him. A lot of people would not be owning bullies if it was not for him. I look at him and Marlin, you know, with Dark Dynasty, the same way. It's like, when you try to hate on those people for whatever little minute thing you pick as a tool to hate on, what people forget is the good that those people have, and the light that those people have shined on the community. And matter of fact, for those who like to hate on Marlin, it was a while ago, but I did an interview with Marlin, and we were supposed to just do an hour interview. I think that mess went on for like 3 hours because that man knows dogs. A lot of people hit me up afterwards and were, one, surprised that he was able to just sit and talk dogs with me. But that man knows dogs, and he did hit me up. So we are going to work on doing another live together. And I'm talking about Marlon Greenan from Dark Dynasty K9, the owner of the Hope, and Kobe, which we happen to have a daughter off of. So we're going to work on that. He's just a hard man to pin down. He'll throw something at me, and then, like, let's do it within the next week. And I'm trying to get a hold of him and waiting on his call back, reminding him, and then he just takes a while. That's a busy dude right there. You know how them rich people are. But so hopefully he and I will pinpoint a time down and get another live done. But if you can, just, I guess, go on Facebook and I don't know, you could put in Daryl Thrower and, I don't know, Marlon Greenan live. I don't know what you would use as the search engine, but you can definitely go on Facebook and find that live. It is a long one because, like I said, man, he could talk, and he could talk dogs, and he knows dogs beyond just the little, you know, marketing that you see. Let's see here. A Pryor, what's up, man? Thanks for joining in. Mr. J, this was the trouble starter that posted the Cesar Milan thing. Joel Sanchez caught the live. Should be a good topic today. Yes, it should. Thanks for joining in. Dom, thanks for joining in. We're going to get to it. Let's see here. Somebody from Facebook said, Dogman is a title earned. You don't just call yourself a dogman. We're going to get into that. Let's see. So let's go ahead and get into the next topic. And what was it? I'm all over the place right now. Oh, okay. Tony Moss said, how does the black hole theory affect people crossing XL to standard? Also, which camps are producing the best examples of bully in the standard XL class? What I'm going to say, a lot of people are not going to like when it gets to the second part of that question, but it'll be mostly show breeders that don't like it, so it's okay. one, when it comes to the black hole theory, make sure to remember that the main point of the black hole theory is that dogs are made up of genotype and phenotype. Genotype is what produces the phenotype, and also what you don't see of the dog phenotype is what we see: the temperament, the color, the structure. So always keep that in mind when it comes to the black hole theory. Also remember, females are double X chromosome, are made up of an X chromosome from their mom and an X chromosome from their dad. X chromosomes carry a lot of genetic information from each of the parents. When it comes to your males, they are XY chromosomes. So they carry an X chromosome from their mom, and then they get a Y chromosome from the dad. And that Y chromosome carries less information than the X chromosome because the Y chromosome is mainly focused on making the male a male. The world is designed for females, whether us males want to admit it or not, so that reproduction can continue and things can keep going. So that's what that Y chromosome is focused on. So if females and males give equal info to female offspring, you want to think about that, because if you want something in a female pup, then you got to make sure that both parents have it, to increase your chances to battle the randomness of genetics. Males give less info to male offspring, so if you want something in your male pups, then you got to make sure that the female has it, because she's going to give more information to that male pup than the male than his father is. Line breeding and inbreeding dogs increases your chances of getting those traits, regardless of randomness, regardless of X and Y chromosomes, especially when you're dealing with a male dog. Excuse me. So again, when we're dealing with traits and genetics, we're trying to battle the randomness to increase our chances of getting what we want. And that's just part of nature, uses that randomness to keep a variety of genetics even within one litter. That is why animals are able to inbreed and line breed, whereas humans, we will have issues when we do that. People make the mistake, back to the black hole theory, of looking at the black hole theory backwards, like we read a book from left to right. The black hole theory doesn't work that way. It works from right to left. So when you're looking at the black hole theory and you're looking at it in your PEDs, you want to start 4 generations back and then work your way to the dog in front of you. When you're utilizing the black hole theory, the main thing is to focus on the male and female and the X and Y chromosomes, as we discuss. If you focus on that and you do selective breeding, you will begin doing your own black hole theory. When you get 4 generations away from when you started focusing on that in your breedings, you'll be able to see where the black hole theory was and which genetics fell into a black hole and never made it into that dog 3, 4 generations, or I should say backwards, 4, 3, 2, 1 generation to the dog in front of you. With that being said, when it comes to XLs and standards and breeding them together, you have to look at its traits that are passed through those chromosomes. So in the standard dog, the way it's supposed to be is they have a trait that keeps the standard from 17 to 20 inches. And the XL dog has a trait that has traits that keep the XL from 20 to 23 inches. So you're just going to look at it in the same manner. When you're breeding your XL to a standard, or XL male to a standard female, or standard female or standard male to an XL female, it's going to work the same as everything we just discussed. Everything we just discussed. So if you want larger pups, then you're going to XL pups, and you breed to a standard, then you're going to need a XL female, so that it increases the chances of you having XL pups in your females and in your male puppies. So I hope that answers the question. But it's just another trait, and that's how you have to look at it. Everything you want to see in a dog, from its height to its weight, whatever it is, it's a trait. And that's the best way to look at it. The second part of that question was, what camps produce the best example of the bully in the standard and XL class. Now, for me, hold on, let me get to the comments real quick. Facebook people, I will try to get to your comments. It also makes it easier, Facebook people, if you click that StreamYard link so that I can see who you are. And it also makes it super easy if you just jump on, because some of you guys are showing, some of you guys on Facebook are showing on here, some of you guys aren't. But it makes it a lot easier if you just go straight to YouTube, Thrower Bullies, subscribe, and then bam, jump in the comments from there. But Jason Barr said, got any tips on, okay, hold on, where are we? Okay, so we're going to get to the dogman aspect. Jason Barr said, got any tips on picky eating dogs under a year? Yes. If you've got dogs that are picky, and I'm assuming you're talking about kibble, that is usually where it takes place. Start out in raw ground beef to the food. I know there's a lot of supplements. I don't speak on supplements because I don't use supplements that you can add to food to get the dog to eat more. So I'm not even going to mention them. But start with raw ground beef, boiling water. You can even take water, grease. I know a lot of people say, oh, you shouldn't be using grease. I love using bacon grease for my dogs. Just you can't use it a lot. So anything like that, you got grease from leftovers, raw ground beef. And then what I would do for a picky eater that's real picky, fast them one day. Understand some people, especially in the working community, will fast their dogs 2 days. So you're okay. Your dog won't be okay. But fast them one day and then make sure you add something to that you like. I would start with raw ground beef. That doesn't work, definitely hit me up on Messenger and Facebook, and then we can figure out some other things. Again, I don't speak on supplements because I've never used supplements. That is just not my thing. But start with raw ground beef and then just keep on going. And remember, every time your dog doesn't eat, it's getting hungrier and hungrier. Also, exercise your dog. Take your dog for long walks, get it tired, wait for about 2 hours, then feed it, and you'll see it start eating. You said she'll eat 2 to 3 days and not again for 2 to 3 days or until I change her food. Ooh, you got a real picky eater then. Sometimes I've had dogs that would fast themselves. My bull lurcher would do that. She did it a lot. Actually, I've dealt with several bull lurchers that were like that. I've had a couple hounds that were like that. A beagle that would do that. So a lot of that depends on the dog. But experiment. Add raw ground beef, whatever it is you're changing that all of a sudden gets the dog to start eating. I would say start exercising your dog more. That's where I would start. That's going to build the dog's hunger and should fix the situation. Also, you might want to try breaking the meals into smaller portions. That might help you out. But start fast the dog. Exercise it on the day you fast. Exercise your dog daily. Start exercising more than what you've been, since the dog will go 2 to 3 days without eating. Fast the dog. Do the regular regimen of your exercise on the day that you fast, and then you should notice the dog picks up and starts eating. Mr. J said, my bad about that post. I didn't see it going that deep. Hey, no, I thought it was a great post. It gets people talking. So keep anytime you got something controversial, definitely throw it in the group. That post was made in the Giant XL American Bully Breed group on Facebook. So don't apologize. It's just funny because people get going. But I thought it was a great post. It got people talking, and it got people disagreeing. I didn't notice anybody disrespecting each other, so I thought the post was great. Spirit, let's see, said, wasn't the dog known to be aggressive? Why would he be out? Okay, here's the thing that's funny. She's saying in her lawsuit that he was known to be aggressive. But we've all watched Cesar Milan. Junior was not an aggressive dog towards people. I've seen his traits, his movement. I know dogs. Not only that, Junior was used around dogs that were skittish and around dogs that were aggressive to assist them in no longer being aggressive or no longer being skittish. So he was a well-balanced dog up until I think I was watching the show till he was like a year old. I don't know if he was 2 years old when I was watching it, but he was a well-balanced dog. So we don't know the details of what happened. And I always blame the humans when something happens like that. Now whether it's the owner or whether it's the person that got bit, we'll find out, I guess, in the lawsuit. But read between the lines when you see those things. Let's see. Ashley said exactly. People love making that sound. I used to go to. I had a dog that I used to try to get accustomed. I was dealing with a client, and she was just like a dog park fanatic. She bought a dog just so she could go to dog parks because she used to like going to the dog park to read books. And she didn't end up with that dog, so we used to have to work on it. And so finally, when we got the dog good at regular parks, we took it to a dog park, and everywhere around me, I had to take a deep breath because it was driving me crazy. Everybody was just following their dogs, making that sound. It was driving me crazy. Yeah, and that was the first time I just ever realized everybody was doing what he was saying. John Smith said, "I know I missed the whole show." Putin say, "Mr. Thor, what's your top 5 traits that are a no for you?" I'm assuming we're talking about American bullies. Things to me are bad eye separation, because a lot of times that results in a neurological issue. I've also noticed that dogs with their eyes further apart tend to not be intelligent, and I see that a lot in the bully community. I would say viciousness. I like a dog with drive. I like a dog that's dominant. I don't like rank-driven dogs. I don't have a purpose. I've never had a purpose in a rank-driven dog. So eye separation, viciousness, extremely high rears. A slight high rear is not a big deal to me, but extremely high rears, I don't like that. That would be my third one. What else? Flipper feet. Dogs with flipper feet. That's another one I don't like. Bowed legs. I don't like. Overweightness. I don't like. I think I already went past 5. I don't know what my top 5 would be. I would actually have to really, really think about that. Let's see. Beth B said that woman is a paid actor. I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised. Kyle Holland said, "What's up, Kyle? Thanks for joining in." Pitbull Bell, what's up? Thanks for joining in. Mr. J says social media has made dumb people powerful. It really has. They have a voice that they never had in history. And I called you Pitbull Bell. What's up, Belinda? Mr. J, I agree. It's bad. When I was young, in the hip hop world and in the Black community, especially on the East Coast, I was kind of involved in things I shouldn't have been back then. So I would travel to the East Coast. I had homies that went to Howard, and big in the hip hop community and in the street was a group of dudes. I shouldn't call them a group of dudes. They were a religion called the Five Percenters. That was an offshoot of the Nation of Islam. And they had one thing they used to push. The reason they called themselves 5%ers was that they said 85% of the population of the world was here to follow. 10% of the world was here to mislead that 85%. And 5% of the world was here to lead that 85% in the correct direction. First time I heard them break that down, I had some friends that were 5%ers also. You had a lot of rappers back then, Poor Righteous Teachers. Jay-Z, even now to this day, quotes a lot of the teachings that they had. But your rappers from the 90s were heavily influenced by the 5%ers until Tupac came along. And that kind of shit, and the West Coast blew up, and Ice Cube and them, even Ice Cube was somewhat influenced by them for a second. But and a lot of people from back then, that was something that 85%, 10%, and 5%, to me really stands out when it comes to the internet. I truly do believe that the majority of people are here following on the internet, and hopefully they follow and become leaders. But what type of leader do they evolve into? Because there's a small percentage of people that intentionally are misleading people in the dog community and every other community online. And that small group of people is basically out for attention, or they're out for money. Because when I was young, the love of money was the root of all evil. And the key word is the love of money. Money is not the root of all evil. The love of money is. And now today, it seems to be attention and clout is the root. The love of it is the root of all evil. So, so when I look at the dog community, especially in the bully world, to me, I think back to the 90s when they used to talk about that, that a large percentage of the bully community is here trying to learn and looking for someone to lead them or help them in the right direction. And you have a small group of people, which is a lot because there's so many of us here that are misleading those people to either get some type of clout or get those people into their pockets. Some of those people mislead people because that's what they intend to do. Some of those people mislead those people because they're just genetically built to mislead people. A lot of what we are when it comes to living things, you're either made, chose, or you're born, you know. So some people do have just foul genetics, you know what I mean, that they get from their family. And other people are made that way because of their environment. And then some people make a choice to be that way. And in the bully community, I think there's a large group of people. It's the lesser amount of people that are trying to mislead that larger group of people that are trying to learn and trying to follow. And then there's an even smaller group of people, which is the smallest group of people, that are people who are trying to lead the community in the correct direction, the right direction, the moral direction when it comes to these dogs. And social media, yeah, it gets all jumbled together. You don't know who's who. And it's unfortunate. Let's see. Ashley Hernan of HBK Bully says she's a big believer on it's always a chemical issue if a dog has some type of aggression. You talking about Victoria? Yes. She always has a way of when things get difficult for her. Of yes, but like I just was talking about, you know, we're either made, born, or chose. She always has. When you can say something is made a certain way, then you as a dog trainer physically try to figure out how to fix that. When you can say something is chose to be a certain way, then you as a dog trainer try to which usually stems from the owner, try to fix that. But when you can say something's genetically or chemically that way, chemically imbalanced, it gives you an excuse to pretend like you know genetics or chemical imbalances and then walk away from the show without training that dog, which is what you were supposed to be doing. I think she's foul. I'm just going to go ahead and say it. Let's see. Spirits in here saying what's up to somebody. Who else do we got on here? Let's see. Belinda said, I met Caesar in 98 before he was on TV. I think he's a cool cat. You know what I'm saying? I don't have no issues with him. He seems cool. He seems like an honest individual. In this lawsuit or whatever, she's claiming he lied about something with Queen Latifah's dog. But Queen Latifah don't have no lawsuit against him, and her situation with her dogs happened years ago. So I don't know. It is what it is. Mr. J says Caesar has been a huge voice for the pit in a positive way. I agree. Love him or hate him, he's a big reason the stigma isn't as bad as it was. I 100 agree on that. Before that, pit bulls were considered evil, and they were considered not good for nothing but dog fighting and biting and eating kids. Let's see. Belinda Pitbull Bell said in Cleveland at an American Bulldog show. Oh, that's where you met him. See, that's, you know, and that's the other thing. He travels, you know what I mean? He goes out, he shows what he does in front of people. You can't really knock that. Let's see. Kyle said, what's up to Mr. J? Ray Garcia said, do you feel like people buy bullies more to breed or more as pets? I think to breed. When do you think that will change? I think you're 100% correct. Right now, there are a couple random dog websites and dog periodicals and dog platforms or whatever you call things that state that the American Bully is currently one of the fastest growing breeds in the world right now. But when I go out, people still think they're pit bulls. I think there are 2 American Bullies in my little area where I live. 2 other American Bullies, I should say. So for the rest of the world doesn't really know this breed exists. So for them to be the fastest growing breed, but the world don't know they exist, you know, means what? That it's all breeders purchasing them. It's all breeders showing them. So right now it's full of breeders. That's unfortunate. If you are a new breeder getting into this, my thing is just do the right thing. You know, be true to the dogs. Don't get caught up in the hype of breeding extremes and all these other things you see people getting into it for. Don't let people tell you that the written standard is some type of biblical writing. It's not. We're going to get into that in a second. And matter of fact, let me see here. But don't let people do that to you and misguide you in here, because a lot of times people misguide you because they're trying to guide you to their kennel. Hold on, let me see something real quick here. Did I send that over there? Yeah, I did. So one of the things, the other questions. Hold on. Did I get all the comments before we get to the next one? Because we're kind of going to touch on that. Let's see. Ashley said DDK9 gets all the love. I got nothing but respect for him and what he's doing over there, and the quality of dogs. You know, whether you feel they're, you know, people say, oh, well, they're not pit bulls. Oh, they're not American bullies. That man's breeding dogs, and they're good quality dogs. Nobody's really complaining about his dogs. Can you find something with that many dogs? Of course you can. SS Kendall said, what's good? What's up, man? Thanks for joining in. Let's see. Where are we at? Marlon is a cool dude. Most are just intimidated or feel he came across as arrogant. And you know what? That's the truth. You know what I mean? And you know what I'm saying? He's one of those people that I remember a long time when I used to rap. I had a verse where I said, now I see why people don't like me. I'm arrogantly humble, be an asshole politely. To me, that is Marlon. You know what I'm saying? He every now and then he comes in one of the groups and he starts messing with people and getting on people's nerves that already hate him. And then he disappears for a few months, you know, goes back to doing his thing. But people just, you know, people are people and they hate, you know, to see whatever it is that they see and like to hate on. Casper, what's up, man? Late is better than never. So what's up? Thanks for joining in. Said just to throw you a question out here. What do you think of the Donovan Pinscher? I love the Donovan Pinscher. I've never had the opportunity of putting hands on one, but from what I've seen, I have a buddy that just I think he got him about a year ago. Got his hands on two. I don't know if he's going to start breeding them or what he plans on doing with them. But he's in love with them. I think they're great. I think they're a great breed. The concept of them is dope. Spirit said, I see confidence when I watch him. Definitely knows his ish. Yes, he does. Let's see. Lee, what's up, man? Says Caesar, Milan changed my dog life, made me a better groomer, trainer, and dog lover. People ask me for training advice because of what I've learned from him. I'd like to hear his version of the story. Exactly. Rose said, I got two good examples for the show to show XL male and female littermates. All right, cool. We'll get to that when I post the link. Let's see. Taki said, I use beef bacon grease. There you go. If you got a dog that's not eating, you put some bacon grease on there from some fried chicken, but especially bacon grease, they'll get on it. It's grease, so you just got to remember it's bad for you. And if it's overdone, so it's just a little bit, teaspoon of it, and bam, they take it down. Let's see. Belinda Pitbull Bell said, I fast mine once a week. Same here. But I have two that will skip eating a day sometimes. Two, especially if it's real hot. Exactly. Or they not have much exercise. Exactly. That's what I noticed with my bull lurchers. If I hadn't got them out, I've had pits that, especially driven pits, that were the same way, where if I wasn't working them, every now and then I would notice they would skip a meal. Let's see. Somebody on Facebook says, should I give a puppy raw every day with his kibble? He's a 13-week-old puppy. Cardi Bull grew up on raw. That was all she ever had until she got to me. I'm not into raw, so I switched her off of that. I don't do the whole raw diet. I do raw ground beef, raw vegetables, and raw fruits. That's it. I don't do like the raw chicken and all that stuff. In my opinion, and it's slowly coming out more and more. There's just too much bacteria involved with raw food. Our dogs have adapted for, I think, what kibble's been for what, about 100, maybe 200 years. Our dogs have adapted to be able to get kibble. You can get all your nutrients you need in kibble, whereas raw, you have to make sure that you're giving muscle this day, bones this day, and however all that works. Excuse me. I don't get into it because it's not my thing. It's overpriced to me. It's over marketed. And I think right now it's a trend that makes people feel that, I don't know, whatever they feel from feeding it, but the average dogs don't need it. And I also think with raw, it covers up issues. You know, if you've got dogs that are allergic to kibble, you need to breed away from dogs that are allergic to kibble. Not give them raw to band-aid it, and now you're breeding dogs that are allergic to kibble, because when dogs are allergic to kibble, it tends to lead to other things. So I think we do a lot of band-aiding, and I don't know if that's a word, band-aiding, but we put a lot of band-aids on things in the dog community, and try to make that as something better, whereas the best thing we could have done was stop breeding those things that were dependent on whatever that band-aid happened to be. I do give raw ground beef to puppies mixed in with their food. I would say do raw ground beef. That would be my advice. Other people who are into raw might be able to give you better advice on that. So I can't really speak on it. Damian Voss said chicken broth is good to use, but try to use only low sodium. Yes, when it comes to trying to get your dog's appetite build up, I agree 100%. Mr. J said, okay, you giving somebody a what's up. Ace, what's up, man? Said, I don't sell to breeders. Some see them as a tool. I agree. We breed slow. When we first got into the bully community, we didn't buy anything for a year. We sat back and kind of watched, my cousin and I, kind of laughing and talking to ourselves. We didn't comment. We didn't do anything. Then it was about a year. Then we made our first purchase, which was King of Diamonds. And then we started getting our females. But I agree 100%. So far, we've had 2 litters, and they've all went to pet homes, or we've kept what we want to use to get our bloodline going. I don't know the whole selling. Most of the breeders I've sold to in the past before Bullies were people I knew, you know what I mean? And we were kind of on the same page, the same philosophies when it came to dogs. I would say we will probably start selling the breeders, but of our litters that we've had, we haven't sold any to breeders. We haven't sold any online, Facebook, Instagram, none of that. It's all just been word of mouth. The other thing is the dogs that we produce right now have the temperament that we're looking for. They have the temperament that the people who look to get dogs from us, regardless of what breed it is, are looking for, because we had to make sure of that. We had to breed for temperament first to make sure the people that we deal with face to face were getting what they expected from any dogs that they get from my little widow's peak is really showing in the light, that they get what they're looking for is through the American Bully. So now we will start moving more into the temperament that the bully community looks for, but we're not going all the way with it. I don't like lazy, undriven, non-purpose driven dogs. And that is our main focus, is give them, basically breed to the standard, because a lot of people misread what the standard asks for. And they look at it as a watered down, lazy, docile, submissive dog. And that's not what the standard says you have to have. So if you look at the standard, we have our own spin, I guess you could say, of it. And that's what we want to produce. And until we are kind of there, and we have also satisfied people that want dogs from us outside of the bully community and outside of the online community, we don't plan on selling any dogs online. Now people that we become cool with, that's different. But as far as marketing our puppies and stuff online for sale, that's not something we plan on doing for some time as of right now. Let me see here. Booten said that Remy and Juan show any protective qualities to them. I know Remy was considered hot and aggressive, dog aggressive. Want to say I've heard people say Remy was also people aggressive. I've heard people say Juan was hot. Coming from Gray Line, he probably was somewhat dog aggressive because he was a Gray Line dog, Juan Gotti. Um, if you guys every now and then you'll see Luna Lopez post from Mystic Moon Bullies. She has heavy Gray Line dogs in her blood, and actually have been had a phone conversation with a guy that got one of her dogs because the dog just kind of caught him off guard because it was a little more than what he expected. And so she does a good job balancing that with her breedings. But she has heavy Gray Line dogs, influence dogs in her blood that she's working with. But Juan Gotti was, yes, from what I understand, was dog aggressive. As far as their protective qualities, I don't know my definition. I'm sure Gary Moore's definition of protective qualities is the same as mine. You guys can also go. I've done an interview with him from Gray Line. But as far as the owner of Remy, I don't know what he considers protective. So if he calls Remy protective, I don't know what he calls protective. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know that about Remy's protective qualities, and just being aggressive is not protective. Let's see. Damn, why did it do that? There it goes. Exactly. Beth said, what's hurting the community is breeders calling bullies pit bulls. I asked a breeder why, and he said because people don't know the difference, and pit bulls get the attention. It's hurting us with pit ban. I see your point in that. I also see the other aspect in that. And I'll give you an example. Somebody I think is real cool in the community, Andre Smith from BGK, Big Gemini Kennels. He's one of the bigger breeders in the community. Actually, Cardi Bull has some of his blood in her, I want to say 3 to 4 generations back. She's got some of his productions in her blood. Talking to Andre about it, I get what he's saying, and their spin on it's kind of like what you're saying, and what they say is people don't know these dogs exist, like we talked about earlier. So if you're trying to build your clientele and your marketing, people call them pit bulls. So it's better what a lot of people do is they do on their websites and things like that, they call them pit bulls, and then once people contact Andre, that's when Andre lets them know, you know what? Hey, you're interested in this dog? Cool. It's not a pit bull. It's an American bully. It's an XL American bully. He educates them on that, the difference, and then why they're still going to want his dog. So it's a catch-22, but people like him use it to get you in and then educate you. Well, they use the quality of their dogs to get you in, but pit bull is used basically for tag words and things online. So I get it. All our dogs are registered American Bully, even the ones that were initially Justice was initially registered UKC as a pit bull. We had her crossed over to Bully because that's what we feel. That's what she is. Let's see. Rose said 32 of us here. Hit that like button. Yes, hit the like button. And make sure you subscribe. Somebody from Facebook said, man, please, you talking on something you don't understand. Okay, let me know what it is I don't understand. Let me see if I can find him on Facebook. He might be referring to somebody else. But if there's something I don't understand, I typically won't speak on it. So let me know what it is I don't understand. And dang, I am missing a bunch of Facebook comments. Derek, what's up, man? Thanks for joining in on Facebook. I don't know how to fix that. And it makes things difficult. So I will get to the Facebook people in a second. Mr. J said my boy Butters fast himself. He cools himself down on his own. He does a lot on his own. And seeing a lot of dogs are that way. Let's go ahead and get to the next topic, which was, what camps produce the best example of the bully in the standard and the XL class? I like people who produce dogs that you can get an expectation from. And I don't care if it's because I look at breed type and the standard, written standard, is two different things. Because that's what they are. It's not just how I look at it, it's what they are. It's factually what they are. The show world, which dominates Facebook, especially in the American bully community, because you go to Instagram and the show world loses its appeal, and then you walk outside of your house and the show world has zero appeal. So the show world dominates the Facebook American bully community. When it comes to the dogs I like people who breed dogs that I know what I can expect from those people. Who are those people? And I'm gonna forget people, so if I don't name you, please don't be offended. But you know, like I said, just before I go into that, again, the show world breeds, they have a competition where they breed for the who can get the closest to the written standard as possible. The dock diving world breeds, if they're breeding for it, tries to produce dogs that are great jumping off that dock and jumping as far as they can into the water. The frisbee breeding world breeds a show is just an activity. It's not like working dogs. So when it comes to that aspect of it, and we'll get into working dogs later when we start talking about who is and who isn't a dog man and why there's such a fascination with it. But I love what Joel from Duval Bullies is doing. He's the owner of Grand Champion Shots Fired, which is a standard. He is somebody that when you look at a Joel, you know you're going to get a dog that was not just bred for breed type, but was bred according to the show world's version of the standard, which the preference kind of changes a little bit because our standard is extremely based off of the UKC Pit Bull and the AKC American Staffordshire, which are pretty much the same thing. Our written standard is extremely based off of that. So, and then it's just kind of a little curve to get more mass and kind of with the ABKC water down the temperament. But, you know, then you have breed type, which is just the look of a dog. Like I always say, breed type. If you call the sheriff's station, you say there's a 10-foot Chihuahua running down the street attacking people. And when they pull up and instead they see a 10-foot golden retriever, they're going to shoot him down. And then they're going to say, okay, now where's the 10-foot tall Chihuahua? Why? Because of breed type. Breed type is what lets you be able to recognize a breed. So there's a difference between breed type and the written standard. Who else do I like? I like what Fred Duran with Primo Line Bullies is doing. Owner of Grand Champion Dooley, also owner, rest in peace, to Grand Champion Saki Bomb. So when I talk about that consistency and knowing what to expect, if I'm not mistaken, he's the only one that has produced two Grand Champions that are XLs. So, but with Fred, you know, you've seen Fred go live with me. You've seen Fred drop lives in the group. You know what to expect with Fred, and he breeds what you expect. Another person I love and have a lot of respect, or I love her dogs and have a lot of respect for, Erica Ross with RBR Kennels. She has a more leaner dog. She uses her dogs for hog hunting, her XL bullies for hog hunting. You know what to expect when you're dealing with Erica Ross. Danny Cervantes, the owner of Champion He-Man, second to none bullies. Another person, you know what to expect when you go to get a dog from Danny Cervantes. Ray Burkett, owner of with Almighty Bullies, owner of Grand Champion Vibes Cartel. Another breeder that you know what to expect when you go to him. Luna Lopez, I spoke on earlier with Mystic Moon Bullies. You know when you go to her, you're gonna get heavy gray line dogs. They got that temperament. She's gonna let you know what to expect, what not to expect. She tells all her customers. She's very informative about their temperaments. The dogs are well structured. She's another one that I give respect to. Heather, Oily Drop Bullies, owner of Grand Champion Prince Charmer, one of my favorite dogs. You know what to expect when you go to Heather. Heather has a lot of knowledge when it comes to these dogs, dogs in general. But again, you know what to expect when you go to her. Jason McGee, Bay Boy Bullies, he's coming up. Got a badass Merle, which is actually the brother to a female that we have, Johnny. And Jason, Bay Boy Bullies, he's coming up. Jason has no problem telling you issues with flaws, things he likes about his dogs, things he doesn't like about his dogs. I give Jason McGee props. Andre Smith with BGK, Big Gemini Kennels, he's another one. He's not in it for, he doesn't breed the short, stocky dogs like a lot of people I named. He breeds big dogs, big bone, but at the same time, he likes his dogs to be driven, have some ability, have a little drive to them. But he's another one. You know what to expect when you get a dog off of Andre. Raul Fagundes with QB&K. He's another one. He's informative. I go live with him every Monday with QB and Kennels on YouTube. And he's another one. You know what to expect with Raul. Brittany Burns. I can't think of the name of her kennel. Because I'm on YouTube. I can't think of the name of her kennel, but she does protection work with her dogs. Again, she's another one that's out there. She puts on the Cinco de Mayo show for the XLs. She does that through USBR. But she's another one. People who work their dogs know exactly what to expect from them, and they can inform you on what to expect from them. But she has her dogs heavily involved in it. Her XLs heavily involved in protection, agility. She's active with them. I forget the name of her kennel for some reason. So those are the people I would name. There's a few others I guess I could go into, but I'll leave it at that because then I could go on for forever. But those are just some off the top of the head. Let me see. What was the next topic? How to wake up dormant genetics. Best way to wake up dormant genetics is line breeding. If you have a dog that you know's got genes in it, but those genes aren't, I prefer to speak on genes as traits. I don't get all involved into the genetic, little genomes and all that other stuff. I think great dog breeding, phenomenal dog breeding can be done without all of that. And I think a lot of times people push, certain genes to make it seem like they know more than what they really do. I see a lot of people that know all about genetics, but their dogs suck. So I look at more traits. So let's say your dog has certain traits in its pet. The best way to get those traits is to line breed or to do an inbreeding back to those traits. You don't line breeding back to those traits. You don't want to do an inbreeding unless your dog and that dog are perfect. And obviously, if you're looking for a trait, then your dog is not perfect. So the best way to get traits to wake up traits in a dog is to do a line breeding back to the dogs in your dog's pedigree that have those traits. I think that's the most I could say about that when it comes to that type of thing. You just want to go back to dogs that have those traits. Also, like we spoke on, with the black hole theory, if you use the concept of X chromosome, Y chromosomes, males, females, and how that all works together, like we spoke on earlier, and we've kind of been touching on it every Tuesday, then you should be able to achieve and get what you want, especially if you go back, to dogs in your pedigree that have the trait that you don't have, but and you're looking to get it. So to kind of, I guess, to summarize it, if you have a male with a trait in his pedigree, but he doesn't have that trait, then you want to breed him to a female with that same trait. The other thing is you don't always have to line breed. You can just look for dogs that have the trait you want, especially if your dog has that trait in his pedigree. But you definitely are going to breed or line breed to a female with the same trait. And you want to give yourself the best chances against genetics. You want to keep the female pup that shows that trait. If you have a male, let me re-say that. If you have a male with a trait in his genetics, in his pedigree, but it's not showing up in him, then you want to breed or line breed to a female with that trait, and then you want to keep the female pups that show that trait. They're more than likely not only going to have that, because not only do they have it, they will more than likely also pass it. If you have a female with a trait that is in her pedigree, but not showing up in her, then you're going to want to breed her to a male through a line breeding, or a male that shows those traits, to a line breeding that shows those traits, or a outcross that shows those traits. And again, hopefully you want to do a line breeding. And then you're going to want to keep the males, because the females are going to be carrying your male's traits that you didn't want. So you want to keep the males off of that breeding, because if they show that trait, there's a chance they got it from their mama, and there's a greater chance that they'll pass it, rather than falling into a black hole. But again, you're still dealing with random genetics, so all I can do is tell you how to increase your chances. What were the other topics? That was it. Okay, so the last topic, the American bully community's fascination with the title Dogman. Before we even get into that, let's go through the comments. Have you worked any Canis Panthers? No, I have not. I like them, but I have not. Mike B said, can we all chip in a few dollars and put D on air conditioner? No. I ran it earlier today. It cooled off, so I turned it off, opened up the windows, and it is heating up in here. Am I glistening or something? Because normally I bring the fan over. Just kidding. Thanks for all the great info. I look forward to getting a puppy from you one day. No problem. Hopefully you get one. Let's see. Betsy Spirit Rider said, follow a true raw feeder if you go raw. Exactly. If you're going to go raw, follow somebody that knows. I don't do raw other than raw ground beef, fruits, vegetables. That's it. Even when I feed my dog chicken feet, I light boil it. Someone who can tell you a ratio of meat, organs, and bone. Exactly, Betsy. Additives such as fruits, roots, and veggies. Bam. I agree with her 100%. Let's see. Rose said my male have more drive and my female are more territorial. I can believe it. I can believe it. That females do tend to be territorial because they like to stick close to home. Males like to kind of wander and get out there and cause trouble. Rose said, I'm trying to establish my bloodline. I have experience with it since 2015. Yeah, I remember having you on and you were saying that. Rose said, I haven't bred in 2 years, but I have my 2 keepers off my last production. There you go. But see, that's dope because it gives you 2 years to watch that production. And then what direction you want to go with your breeding. Also, remember, in about 30 to 40 minutes, for some reason, my phone's going to kick me out of here. The live will still be up, and I will jump back on. It takes me about 15 to 30 seconds. Mike B said, I met a local breeder. When I met his dogs, his male jumped up and took a hot dog out of his hand as he was taking a bite. If he lets that fly, what else is he letting go? I moved on from him. Hey, you got a good point. Now, sometimes I will say this, as owners, I'm kind of hard on my dogs. So now, except for when they get old. Once they hit 8 years old, I kind of get rid of all the rules. It takes them about a year or two to realize that, and then they become obnoxious. But I like that because it kind of brings that puppy mentality back into them. Cardi Bull is just goofy. She is pretty much, my son is kind of taking her over, my oldest son. Like, that's his dog. They just got this love for each other. So I don't work with her. I work with her as far as conditioning. As far as training discipline, I more kind of work with him on working with her. So every now and then she gets out of line, but as far as jumping up, taking something out of my hands, she would never do that. But my point in saying that is, yes, there are going to be times where somebody has a demeanor with their dog that keeps their dogs in line. Then you show up to look at the dogs, and they kind of drop that demeanor a little bit, and the dog realizes it, and then gets a little out of line. So I'm kind of playing devil's advocate in that. Let's see. Taki said, follow Eastwood Bullpen on Facebook. They got some nice dogs. I don't know anything about them. Rhodes said Cairo used to maul the Frenchie he was with in the kennel. Cairo the bully? I'm not sure who you're talking about. Somebody on Facebook said, is this live? Yes, it is. Looks like I'm 10 minutes behind. Putin said, what do you think of Monster G from New Trojan? He was a beautiful dog. I agree. I think he was dope. Definitely. Back then, there were a lot of people not affiliated with American Bullies or even their beginnings whose dogs were paper hung on. That there were a lot of Monster G's back then. He did stand out from what I've seen, but there was some badass dogs back then. But I like what I've seen of Monster G. I've never seen him in person, even though he's from out here in Cali, and from my local area. Let's see. Ram Kennels said, got some Red Bulls. Check him out. Oh, yo, we don't advertise kennels and people's litters on this live or on any of the lives I do. Beth said, can you speak on what the UKC is doing to get people to change their dogs over from APBT to American Bullies? I can't find the video. You did speak about it with QB&K. Basically, a lot of these dogs were paper hung as pit bulls on the UKC until the ABKC got going. So right now, if you have a dog that is registered with the UKC as a pit bull, you send in, I want to say we had to send in front and side pictures of the dog, and then let them know you want to change the dog over to American Bully. They will review it, look at it. It will obviously not be a pit bull, and then they will go ahead, cross it over. If your dog has purple ribbon, you lose that. That's not a big deal, though. All purple ribbon means is I've been registering my dogs with this line of dogs with the UKC for, I think it's 5 generations. So purple ribbon's not, it sounds good, but it's not a big thing. It's not like, a show ribbon. But that's pretty much the process of it. Let's see. Ace Nino said, I think top 3 is QB&K. Hold on, though. Yeah, I think that's what you're talking about. So I hope I covered that. Ace Nino said, I think the top 3 in is QB&K, Big Gemini Kennels, and Duval Bullies. I feel you. I can't. I mentioned them. I can't deny it. And I love Shots Fired, Joel's dog, Grand Champion Shots Fired. He's a beautiful dog. To me, he's what the bully should be as far as the standard and the show ring go. When I say the standard, I'm talking about the written standard. He and Waffle House, along with, which I want to say is Shots Fired's father, and also Dooley from Fred Duran and Primo line. In my opinion, they are the best representations of what the American Bully show version of the dog should be based off the written standard. It's starting to go a little more extreme. I don't think it should, and definitely not when it comes to the XL. Jason Barr, I hope I'm pronouncing that right, Barr. Can you touch on how to change a pitch registration to bully? I just said that, so I hope I answered that. But yeah, hit the UKC up. You will have to send them pictures of the dog. They will look at it to verify that it's not a pit bull. And the UKC is doing that because they're trying to get the American Bullies separate from the pit bull because there's so many bullies registered as pit bulls. You got exotics registered with the UKC as pit bulls, and now they're jumping on that. I do believe that sooner or later the UKC is going to put a huge. I do believe they're going to be they're going to start kicking dogs out at some point. So I would suggest that you get your dogs crossed over. The other thing we have to admit is if you're registering your American Bully as a pit bull, you are officially paper hanging. So you got to remember that. So, but I do think they are going to be doing things to crack down on it, and people will find that their dogs are all of a sudden kicked out. Why does a single registration dog hurt a breeding program? We are kind of, well, hopefully we're not dealing with it in our camp at Thrower Bullies, but we might be possibly dealing with it. We'll see. But what happens is you get people that come to you, and one, it's a new breed. So you come in it as a breeder, you're trying to get your bloodline going or your look going, whatever it is, you want to achieve consistency in your yard. There are flaws that you don't want, traits that you do want to get, traits that you don't want to get. So you're being picky about who you get dogs to. The best thing about a good breeder is they're going to breed good dogs regardless of the flaws. So therefore, you want to, the best thing for those dogs are pet homes so that they're not going to shows. Just like if I got a working dog for protection, but I notice that this pup is over friendly, then I'm going to put him in a home that I know is not looking for protection. If I got a dog that I want to breed for hunting and I notice he's kind of reserved, doesn't want to deal with the other dogs, I tend to not want to put him with a home that's going to use him for hunting. You want to put him in a pet home. So that is the concept. But what happens in the bully community is people say, I want a dog, and that's what we're kind of dealing with. And hopefully we're not dealing with it anymore. We'll see. But people will say, I want a dog just for a pet. And you say, okay, no problem. I got, good quality dogs. You're looking for a dog. So with us, we have dogs that we are breeding, and we are breeding towards what we're looking at as far as the end result of our bloodline. We have some dogs that come out and they don't fit that. And you're going to continue to have that until you start line breeding and inbreeding. We are not at that phase yet. So we have dogs that don't fit what we're aiming for, so therefore we pet home those dogs. Well, what happens is those people say, I have an XL American Bully. They get out. People start saying how much money you can make. They start seeing it. And then next thing you know, they hit you up and they want papers. So the last person that hit us up wanted the papers on the dogs. And we said, we can't give it to you because that dog's not to be bred. We even had one dog that was not to be bred unless we said. And then the person, when they realized how much money they could make, they all of a sudden wanted the papers and wanted to know why they couldn't breed to whoever, whenever they wanted. But that lets you know a person's in it for money when they talk like that. So because we could all get in this and make a bunch of money if we bred to anything, which a lot of breeders do, unfortunately. But what happens is those people can't get their papers. And what they do is they turn around and they single register the dog because the stud books are still open on this breed. And that means you have a dog, you take it, you say, I don't have papers for it, but he's an American Bully. And then the registry says, okay, send us pictures. The registry looks at the pictures, and then bam, they give you your pictures with no pedigree on the dog. And you're basically starting at square one, but now the dog has UKC papers that say, or ABKC papers that say it's a bully. It just doesn't have a registry. And that's what hurts a breeding program, because now people are taking that dog that you don't consider breed quality from your program. It might be breed quality for someone else's program, especially the person that's single registering it. But it's not breed quality for your program. So you don't want it. You don't mind it being out there. You don't mind it being seen. You just don't want it breeding. And then this person single registers it so that they can start breeding that dog. And of course, they're going to tell people they got it from your program by mouth. They just won't be able to do it by paper. And that's why a lot of people put in their contracts for their dogs that once the dog reaches a certain age, it needs to be spayed or neutered. And then that backfires because then the dog doesn't develop properly if it's done too early. So that's what single registering is all about. 35 Sadiq, what's up, man? Said, would you ever create your own breed? I actually wanted to create my own breed before we got into Bullies. My cousin laughed at me, was like, hell no. But yeah, I was getting ready to create my own breed. I didn't have a name necessarily for it. I had a couple names, but hadn't agreed on them. But I wanted to take the Beagle, a working Staffordshire Bull Terrier, a working Beagle, a Italian Greyhound. Didn't care if it was working, just needed it for its structure. Possibly a Whippet, but definitely Italian Greyhound because I didn't want big dogs. I wanted small to medium-sized hunting dogs. So what I was looking for was 4 breeds: working Beagle, working Patterdale Terrier, working. I didn't need the Staffordshire Bull Terrier to be working. I just needed to be driven, and then Italian Greyhound. I wanted to cross the 4 of those, get that done right, and produce them for working for hunting small game, but like high pace, fast action hunting. But that was my what I wanted to create. People laugh at that. Like my cousin laughed at me when he said we need to start breeding, because we were always breed the same breeds but at different times. And then every now and then we will kind of go our own direction. I started getting into bull lurchers. He got into cane corsos. We both got out of that. And then he hit me up about the bullies. I was getting ready to get back into the bull lurchers. And he hit me up about the bullies. I was like, hell no, let's breed this new breed I want to create. And he said, hell no. And then we discussed XL American bullies, American bulldogs, and dogos. And then I don't know how he won because he's my younger cousin. So I don't know how he won that argument. And next thing you know, here we are breeding bullies. Somebody from Facebook said, I can't believe these props. Not sure what that means. Jason Bohr said, I can't believe I think I know what you're talking about. And then you're giving props. I think I know what you're talking about. Jason Bohr said, does single registration hurt a breeding program? Just spoke on that. And that's the thing, you guys. If I don't hit your question, just repeat it. Taki Williams said 35. Okay, so he's talking to him. Somebody from Facebook said I would change the registration to Bully. I agree. Taki said game bred pit bull through also Mali and Borbell are protective, and the Borbell is the most athletic mastiff. Mastiffs come in so many varieties that I don't know, because you can get Presa Caneros that are extremely what would you say, athletic. I think of your bigger, bulkier dog, yeah, the Borbell is probably one of the more athletic. Let's see. Rose said, what would you consider me as a breeder? You are working on your bloodline. From our conversation, I would consider you experienced due to the fact that you are looking to produce band dogs for working hogs, and for protection. You and I haven't had enough conversation. But if you're asking like about the dogman title, which we are about to get into, I would say I have the impression that you are possibly a dogman. But from our discussion, I would bet my money that you are. Pitbull Bell said, I'm about to take a Borbell to a Corso. My buddy is taking a Borbell to his game pits. He's getting out of the whole game thing and getting into band dogs. And he just got his hands on a dope Borbell. So I feel you. But you say you're taking it to a Borbell to a Corso Presa, bitch. That's the route I'm going to make what I want and need. I feel you. I love band dogs. We actually discussed getting into that before going into the bullies. And I don't know how my cousin won the argument and we got into bullies. And then we agreed to get into bullies. We started watching the community online, especially on Facebook. Then I was like, hell no. And then, I don't know, somehow here we are 5 years later. 5 years later is in 2 productions. Like I said, we breathe slow. Until next year, that's when we're going to pick it up and really go 10 toes down in the bully game. But we always said it would be between 2021 and 2022. And right now, it looks like it's going to be 2022. Taki said, you can't call yourself a breeder. Your peers and mentor must recognize you as one, not the masses, but other real recognized real breeder, and takes time, at least 5 years. I believe you need 10 at least. I feel you. Rhodes said, yeah, Dave Wilson's Cairo used to maul the female he was with in the kennel. I didn't know nothing about that. That's my first time hearing that. But you know what? I mean, he shouldn't have been, I doubt he was allowing it to happen. Yard accidents do happen. But, and remember, my phone, for whatever reason, is going to kick me out of here. It'll take me 15 seconds and I'll be back, not back on, but back in the live. The live won't go anywhere. You got to remember that those dogs were a little more hot back then. They weren't as watered down as these dogs are that we're looking at now. King of Bullies Excellence said, can you speak on how dogs are cloned? I heard something the other day about a dog being cloned multiple times over a period of time. How is that? Yeah, I don't understand all that stuff when it comes to cloning. I have been hearing of it, especially going on overseas in China. I want to say, I think what people do is they get the DNA of a dog, they freeze it or do whatever they do to store it. Then eventually, they go ahead and they take that DNA, and I guess they would take that. I don't know. I don't know. I have no idea the science behind all that. I would assume it works similar to the same. How would you have to clone? I don't know. I don't know, because what I was about to describe of cloning would just be like freezing semen. So you wouldn't need to clone it. So I don't know. Somehow they take that DNA though, and they're able to put that into a female who carries that dog, but she ends up giving birth to dogs that are the exact replica of whatever dog you had cloned. I don't know if it does the whole litter, just one. I don't know how it works. I'm assuming it would do a whole litter. Or maybe she just gives birth to one puppy as a singleton. I have no idea. That's actually a good question. King of Bully Excellence said, and would it be advised, and how does it impact the bully community? I don't think the bully community has really produced anything that's worthy of cloning, because we don't know where we're headed. There are too many flaws in the breed still, not only breed flaws, but species flaws. So I don't think there's a bully worth cloning. I think the closest thing would be Dooley, but who's to say what changes come to the breed or breed preference in the next year or two? So I wouldn't be cloning any American bullies. Purple ribbon means that it can be traced back so many years, but it doesn't obviously apply to the bully. Not sure why it's a big deal to bully people. Exactly. Ace Nino said, why do people argue over UKC and ABKC? Because they're stupid. UKC is the most known registry dealing with American bullies, so why wouldn't you register them to them? ABKC is the biggest bully kennel, which is kind of backwards now that I just said it. ABKC is the biggest American bully kennel. It's the one, I guess you would say, is truest to the bully, and I guess the overseeing the overall what a bully is supposed to be. UKC has the bully, but they are the most well-known kennel. They're never going to go anywhere. They'll always be here. I think ABKC is getting to that route. But the differences that people argue about is the UKC expects a functional American bully that is driven, is able to perform against other breeds in various activities. The UKC doesn't mind animal aggression in the American bully. It's not something that's written into their standard. The ABKC is specifically against that. The ABKC looks more for a bulldog influenced dog as far as its features. Less functional, doesn't seem to be a concern. That's what I would pretty much say is the main difference. As far as people arguing over it, as a breeder, I think it makes sense to be registered to both. A lot of the breeders that are anti-UKC tend to be people who have been kicked out of the UKC for whatever they've done, which tends to be multiple things. Paper hanging on dogs, claiming that a dog was bred to another dog and it really wasn't. That's what I've noticed. Let's see. Belinda Pitbull Bell said, I absolutely hate that they use Pitbull coming from game dogs is messed up. True Pitbull through the ADBA even. Yeah. You know, I mean, even the pit bull with the UKC to me is not the true pit bull. It's the AKC American Staffordshire, and the American Staffordshire and the pit bull. It's been 80 years. They're no longer the same breed. They've been bred for two different purposes. I would say the ADBA was the truest, but I am noticing even with them, there are more UKC pit bulls, which are really Amstaffs, making it into ADBA. You know, as people start to breed more for looks than performance. Let's see. She said, Pitbull Bell said, even though ADBA puts an asterisk by dog's name, not many people even realize what that meant. Was a UKC dog ultimately watering game dogs down. Exactly. What she's speaking on is the ADBA in their headlines will put an asterisk by dogs that are registered with the UKC as a All right, I'm back. I don't know why it does that. Where was I? Oh, so the ABA will put an asterisk by dogs that are registered with the UKC because of the UKC's influence, Pit Bull's influence of the AKC's American Staffordshire. Let's see. Pitbull Bell said only certain people went to paper registries to keep that preserved and pure. Rhodes said, I'm registering my dogs as American Bullies with the UKC. Ray Garcia says, is there a way to stop the shady single registration? I don't believe you can until they close the stud book. So it's up to the registries. Would microchipping the dog help with that? No, because they're not looking at they're not seeing your dog. You're sending them pictures, but there's nothing, but you know, so no, I don't believe it would help. The registries are going to have to close the stud books. I personally believe there's enough specimens out there for them to go ahead and close it. Pitbull Bell said, I'm about to single my XL with the ABKC in the IBKC to not have to use UKC. I hate using UKC. I feel you. Rose said, I'm focusing on my blood. That's why I gave the red female back. I know what you're talking about. Got you. The Italian Greyhound is a bad little dog. That's why I wanted to use it. I don't know how I lost my argument. Taki said, yeah, a lot of game dog breeders don't even register their dogs. They just keep pedigrees. How do you feel about the true pit? Some people feel like all of it's watered down. Talking to people in the chat also. The people that I know, okay, first off, when I speak on game dogs, I don't mean dogs that are from game lines. That is a gimmick that I noticed started in the 90s, where people were not matching their dogs. They were just breeding dogs that have been matched and creating bloodlines off that. But they had dogs that weren't proving them and we're calling them game dogs. And now here we are, 2021, and people will say, I breed game dogs. And what it really means is they breed dogs from game lines. They have Bolio, Red Boy, all that other stuff, Jeep and everything else you could think of. So when I speak on game dogs, what I mean are dogs that are proven to be game, box dogs, match dogs, whatever you want to call it. And you're right. A lot of game dog breeders do not care about registries. They don't register their dogs. Um, they because they're not concerned with pedigrees, they're concerned with the dogs being proven, and they keep track of the dog's pedigree themselves or through smaller registries that don't mind keeping track of that. And that's when you'll notice by the dog's name, especially the males, you'll have 3-time winner, 4-time winner. I got into it a bunch of dudes in the game dog group of why females often aren't. You don't see the 3-time winner, 4-time winner, 5-time winner by their names. So it's funny you brought that up. But yes, a lot of game dog breeders are not concerned with these major registries. Beth B said a breeder I got a female from told me not to change her over to American Bully because it limits my options for studs. That's true. What's your opinion? And will the UKC notify the breeder that I changed her over? I don't think they notify the breeder. They might. I don't know. When we change Justice over, I don't know if they, because the female, she is okay. Justice is DD Kobe, bred to, and my mind just went blank, to a kennel that no longer is operating, to their female. Actually, you know what? She was off of Bully Blue Giants, a female off of Bully Blue Giants, but that was owned by another guy. And I don't think that other guy has his kennel any longer. But she was a DD Kobe, and I forget what her mom's name. I don't know why I can't think of it. I keep thinking of King's mom. But her mom was from Bully Blue Giants. And I don't know that they notify them when you change it over. I have no idea. I don't believe that they do. But again, what was your statement of breeder? I know she said don't change. Oh, yeah, it does, because so many bullies are registered with UKC as pit bulls that it is going to limit you to what dogs you are breeding to. So for instance, with Justice, we have to contact ABKC and see what it is. We just haven't gotten around to it. But we're hoping we can single register with ABKC, keep her work, but we don't know. Somebody told us that ABKC won't register dogs off the Hope. So we have to find out if that's the case before we will breed her. But before we breed, we want our bloodline to be both ABKC and UKC. So she won't go into the line that's creating our bloodline if she cannot be registered with ABKC as American Bully. But we did have her transferred over to UKC American Bully. And a lot of people, when we did that, they did the same thing that you're talking about. You shouldn't have done that because now you're not going to be able to breed to UKC studs that are registered as American Bully. I mean, that are registered as Pit Bull. We're not concerned with that. We want our dogs to be registered as what they are. Ray Garcia said, okay, he's talking to Pitbull Bell. Pitbull Bell said, true APBT game dogs will always be my breed. They're always going to be my numero uno. Also, I do love the Kangal. I love Dogos too. Excuse me. I fancy lots of breeds, but the game dogs have my heart. Exactly. And my bullies are more active than most. Our bullies are more driven than most. King is our laid-back dog used for the balance. And our first steps toward create. Don't start with me. That's my bossy dude telling me it's time to feed him. He was there to create. Our females are very driven. King is protective, especially his property, his home. But he is more of a laid-back dog. King is cool with cats, and I mean like your neighbor's cat. If your neighbor's cat comes into the yard and you got King in your yard, he will he'll walk up to it to see if it wants to play. King is very cool like that. Now, if you as a human climb the fence into the yard, King ain't going for that. So he is perfectly balanced with what we were looking for, especially dealing with American Bullies, but our females are more driven. You're not going to have a cat in our backyard with our females. And then we will be using the dogs from King to our females to begin the bloodline into going what we want to do with a little more drive than King. But he's just a cool dog. You could take him anywhere, anything. He was attacked by a pit bull once, matter of fact. And he just like beat the dog up. And when they separated it, he was back to tail wagging and he wanted to play again. That's just him. But at the same time, when he was in Arkansas with my cousins King Corso, we would get bear on the property, wolves on the property. They would run them off the property past the tree line because it's not fenced in except for the horse area and which is attached to the barn. But the rest of the property is not fenced in, so they would run them off the property. And once they ran through the tree line, King would turn around and come back. And so would the King Corso. So he was satisfied with that, you know. But I agree. I like my dogs to be more driven than most people in the bully world. WKR said, to my understanding, the term dogman is what we call the old school breeders, handlers, game bred pit bulls. Now people try to wear that name as it's the Cuban gold link. Sad. I agree. Let's get into the topic. Here we go. Many in the Facebook bully community are not going to like what I'm about to say. It is what it is. We just going to talk truth. Right now, when it comes to this community, a lot of people claim dog man. They say, you're not a real dog man. I'm a real dog man. He's not a real dog man. She's not a real dog woman. Blah, blah, blah. I don't understand your fascination with being a dog man. I don't understand that whatsoever. I have been called a dog man by my peers. There are a lot of situations I have wish my dogs had never had to go through to be called that by my peers. I never call myself a dog man. I never have. I never will. That is something that people will have to call you. The title dog man is just like the title band dog. Your peers give you that. You don't mix mastiffs and call them band dogs. They have to be proven either through working hogs, fighting, or doing protection. And then your peers will say it is now a band dog. H. Lee Robinson has a program. He now has switched his band dogs to where he's no longer bringing in any other breeds, and he has the and he's now calling them a breed, which is the American Sentinels, the name he's given them. You guys can also look where I did the interview with H. Lee Robinson in the group, but he has layers to it, which is how it should operate, you know. And I might mess up, but your dog has to be proven. Then at that point, it can be registered on the first tier as a band dog. And then once that dog has produced dogs that considered an American Sentinel band dog through his registry, but not until it's able to pass on its genetics to work. And with this word dog man, we have to have the same expectations. A lot of people jump on lives and in comments and in posts calling people not a dog man, calling themselves a dog man. What's a dog man? Is your favorite breeder a dog man? Is your veterinarian a dog man? Are people who make dog food, is Pedigree a dog man? The owner of Pedigree, because he makes dog food, is that a dog man? Based off Facebook standards, your veterinarian's a dog man. People who make dog food kibble are dog men. People who have dog food stores and can tell you what kibble is the best are dog men. People who feed raw are dog men. People that have had more than 4 American bully breedings are dog men. What else does Facebook call a dog man? People who have been in the American bully online game with a few breedings for more than 10 years are dog men. Who else are dog men on Facebook? Dog men and dog women. Who else? What else do we call dog men on Facebook? All of it, all that silly shit, we call dogmen. Them ain't dogmen. Let's get into the nitty gritty of this last topic in the conversation. A dogman is a man that knows, has always been. It's an unwritten definition. It's not on Google. It's not, and that is one thing that I will promise you that I will always have topics and things that, you know, like last time people hit me up and they're like, I can't find purpose drive and intuitive drive on Google. because Google don't do dogs. That's why. You know, I'm gonna every now and then speak on things you're not gonna find on Google. It's not gonna be in a book. It's just understood by those who understand dogs. So there is no definition on not YouTube, but Google for the word dogman. And the minute that it is there, it will be wrong. A dog man is, by definition, is an understanding what it is, has always been, and will always be, is a man who has knowledge, wisdom, and understanding of dogs through working dogs, and is able to bring the best out of those dogs because of that knowledge, wisdom, and understanding through working dogs. That is a dog man, a dog woman. And I'm going to flip it for you in a second. So then the next thing, what is working dogs? Working dogs is anytime you are putting dogs against man or beast, whether it be for hunting, herding, greyhound racing, protection, those things that give you the ability. And I'm not talking about protection where they go and they win trophies because the dog is doing bite work. Because a lot of those dogs won't protect you in a real situation. I'm talking about protection when it comes to the civil drive in a dog. And able to condition those dogs and breed dogs for that have a certain level. So when I talk about protection, I'm talking about dogs that have a medium to high level of civil drive. Not just protection. And my dog's protection trained. He's won 10 trophies in Schutzland and I don't look at that as protection. To me, that type of thing is just, I don't know, extremely obedience training while doing tug of war. That's how I look at that. You know, even when you even look at these police and how these dogs get into the heat of a situation, they tell them off and they don't let go. That becomes a problem with these guys that do all these protection training and are known for it, and then they put dogs in the hands of police. So when I speak on protection, I'm speaking on people who breed and condition for a high to medium to high level of civil drive. Other than that, it's dogs that are put against beasts, meaning that they doing hog catching, hunting. I don't care if it's rabbits, beagles and rabbits. Those who produce dogs that do it well are dogmen. Dog racing. If you're competing in something that is timed, but there's no other dog there to give that dog, you know, that competitive drive, that's not work. Dock diving is not work. I know a lot of people love weight pool. That's not work, in my opinion, and in most dogmen's opinion. A lot of dogmen got into weight pool and then felt comfortable dragging that title dogman into weight pool and labeling weight poolers as dogmen. But weight pool just puts a dog against a weight. The dog is not looking or trying to actually compete with another dog. The most furthest from it would be dog racing. The reason why the dog racing, the greyhound, and those breeders are still dogmen is because those dogs are racing, trying to beat another dog, not just around the track. They don't know nothing about that track. What they're trying to do is catch that rabbit that they're after on that little thing, that little fake rabbit that goes around. There has to be a certain amount of drive and ability, not just ability, but also drive in that dog in order for it to compete against those other dogs and win. Your dog can have more ability, but if he don't have the drive to get to that rabbit before this dog, then you as a greyhound breeder didn't breed the right dog. You got to breed for temperament and you got to breed for ability. So again, a dog man is a man or woman that knows how to bring the best out of a dog from their experience, a long experience in working dogs. Work is anything that puts a dog against man or beast, be it hunting, fighting, herding, cattle dogs. And when it comes to the man aspect of it, then we are talking about maybe scent, you know, dogs that are trained to track people. And as far as protection, only when it comes to the civil drive of a dog being medium to high, not just these dogs that are doing bite work, which is advanced tug of war. That's what a dog man is. Because by Facebook standards, anybody can be a dog man as long as they've gotten enough information from Google. A dog man knows how to condition his dog for what he's about to do. They know how to put a dog in a keep for which is conditioning of what they're about to do. The diet, when they get into an emergency, they know how to get that dog out of the emergency. Stitching dogs, and that's why I said in the beginning, I don't get why people want to be called a dog man unless you're looking at a watered down version of it, which means you're not a dog man. You don't need to be a dog man to be a good dog owner. You don't need to be a dog man to be a good dog breeder. You can learn all the things you need, all the nutrition and all the I don't know, whatever you want to call it. You can have great dog husbandry without being a dogman. Dogmen rarely need vets. Until Bullies, hadn't been to a vet in 25, almost 30 years. Was no need for me to. I knew how to do everything I needed to do, even when the dogs were in emergencies. I've had dogs cut up, scarred up, gashed, and I would stitch them myself, get what I need to do and stitch them myself, especially in the heat of the moment, because that tends to be when the dog's adrenaline is flowing and you don't have to numb it. From staples to stitching, whatever it is you need, and that's how most dogmen are. Again, most dogmen don't call themselves dogmen unless they happen to be around other dogmen having conversation. They've been drinking a couple beers and they say, well, us dogmen, blah, 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 blah. Rarely does a dogman step out into a world outside of his world and call himself a dogman. I've never seen it before until I got on Facebook in the American bully community. Unfortunately, in the next 20 to 30 years, we will probably lose the true definition of the word dogman due to the people that throw the word out there so loosely. But I challenge everybody watching. I think it's showing 43 people on here. Plus, that doesn't include the people that are watching from Facebook. And I'll try to get you guys comments. We're almost on 2 hours. I challenge you guys, when you get out there on Facebook and you see these guys in their lives, and you see these guys in their posts and in their comments, and they say the word dogman. If they call themselves a dogman, ask them. Be cool about it. Be respectful, but ask them, why do you consider yourself a dogman? When they say, I go to this breeder because he's a dogman, ask them, why do you consider that breeder a dogman? Start pushing these people's backs against the wall. Don't go tagging me saying, Daryl, he called himself a dog man. Is he a dog man? I don't know. Ask them. Ask them. Put their backs against the wall. Let's get these dogs, especially American Bully, since it's in its beginning phases. Let's get these dogs and these terms and these definitions where they're supposed to be, so that we don't keep breeding shitty dogs, and that people put a higher expectation on their productions, the dogs that they breed to, rather than just breeding, I got a clean dog, so I'm going to breed to this big extreme monster dog that looks like shit just so I can hopefully get something between the two, because that's what this community is being built on. Excuse me. Built on recently. Now, you do have dogmen that get out of those things that make you a dogman and they get into other breeds. Jamie Sweet is a perfect example. She created her own breed, which is the Shorty Bull. But Jamie Sweet comes from a background of working breeds. And then she just fell in love with the bulldog and I guess wanted to create her own version of it. But Jamie Sweet knows dogs. You can talk to Jamie Sweet about dogs that work. Comes from her father. Who else? I'm not going to go. I'm going to avoid doing the list of naming people. But I wanted to name Jamie Sweet because she's a female and she has her own breed that does not work. But at the same time, exotic breeders are now using Shorty Bulls, which is the breed she created, to get that look they want, but with better health. But that is why I named her. 1, because she's a female. 2, because she comes from a working dog background. And 3, she's somebody that she's a dog man. You know what I mean? But you don't have to be a dog man to breed good dogs. You don't have to be a dog man to win shows. Most dogmen ain't going to be involved in shows. Very few. All right, let me take that back. Most people in that win shows are not dogmen, never have been, never will be. That goes from champions to grand champions. You don't need to be a dogman to win shows. But that's the thing with this. If you haven't done 10, 15, scratch that. If you haven't done 15, 20 years of working dogs, you're not no dog man. Straight up. It just is what it is. And this community throws that word around so crazily that it's ridiculous. And here's the secret to all of it. If you're not a dog man, there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. If you want to, just like if you want to breed mastiffs to American bulldogs and make a merle and create these pretty big dogs, there's nothing wrong with it not being a band dog. It just isn't. Same thing with the term dogman. There's no need for the American bully community to be obsessed with the word the way they are. I've seen people who have been breeding these dogs for 10 years, and my favorite dogman is this person. And they point out this person, and that person don't know jack about working no dogs. And if they did, maybe 5 years, maybe 10 years. But if you ain't been, there's so many situations that you have to be in to be considered a dog man. It ain't got nothing to do with nutrition. It ain't got nothing to do. I know dog men that don't breed. I know one dog man that has never bred, never been his thing, never been something he wanted to do. He's not into puppies. He buys all his dogs at about 1 year to 2 years old. And once he has them, he goes and he buys another one because he refuses to deal with puppies. I think he had one breeding when we were young. And after that, that's just not his thing. He don't like dealing with puppies. So he buys his dogs, but he buys his dogs at about six months old, or he buys them at 2 years old if they're proven, 1 year old if they're somewhat proven. Other than that, if he's going to deal with puppies, he wants one puppy. Or he might get two, but they're unrelated. They're never going to breed because he don't want to deal with breedings. But he's a dog man. He's forgotten more about dogs than the average bully breeder knows. And so it has nothing to do with breedings. It has nothing to do with nutrition. It has, people will say dog men are honest. No, I know some dog men that are the most dishonest people I can think of. It has nothing to do with honesty. People will say dog men teach people. I know dog men that won't teach you a damn thing. They don't care about you. They don't halfway care about their dogs other than the fact of what their dogs can do. That is their focus. You know what I mean? So this ideological, dreamy image we have of a dog man, those things that I've been through that have caused people to call me a dog man, they ain't dreamy. I would rather have never been through those situations and never had dogs that have been through those situations. And then people and my peers not call me a dog. That's what I would prefer. That would have made life a lot easier. But, when you out there hunting dogs, situations happen. The more you do it, the more they happen. Catching. I've had dogs severely injured from hunting rabbits. They run past a stick that's pointed the wrong direction. It's sharp, and bam, and they're hung on it, struggling to get off of it. And I see it at the last second. And I got to run over there, get the dog off the stick, and then bam, go to work. You know what I mean? It's not all just about fighting, fighting dogs. It's just a lot of situations that dogmen end up in that a lot of people who call themselves dogmen really ain't got the stomach for. They really don't. But everybody wants to be a dog man. Why? If you're using it as an excuse to teach people, just teach people what you do know. If you're into nutrition, you can teach people nutrition without calling yourself a dog man. It just makes no sense. I don't know where that fascination came from. It's just crazy to me. But you don't have to be a dog man to breed good dogs. You need to be a dog man to breed good working dogs, because you got to be out there conditioning those dogs, working with them, getting them out of situations, preparing them for situations. And that, ooh, he just went, okay. But that is, that's the definition of a dogman. So I'm going to repeat it, and then I'm going to challenge you guys that are watching. So this is going to be homework. So I'm going to repeat it. A dogman is a person that knows how to bring the best out of a dog through conditioning, through healing injuries, and he learns, and it comes from the knowledge, wisdom, and understanding that he has gained from years of working dogs. What is working dogs? It is not the spring pole, flirt pole. That's not work. We all call it. I do the same thing. Ooh, look at him work. But that's slang of a slang. You know what I'm saying? What is working dogs? Working dogs is anything that puts that dog against man or beast, whether it's rabbits, hogs, those who are involved in dog fighting, which I don't condone. And when it comes to man, it's not just protection on the bite sleeve getting the trophy. It is civil drive. Those dogs that don't need to be agitated to hit a person, either by command or you just got too close or made a move I don't like. And a dog man who is focused on protection breeds for a medium to high level civil drive. The reason they keep medium in their fold is when they need to bring that civil drive down. That's what a dog man is. That it will never be anything else that Facebook tries to make it. It has nothing to do with how many litters you've had, how good your dogs look, how honest of a person you are, how much information you're willing to give out to the community. They don't have nothing to do with none of that. That's all some dreamy Facebook bully thing that people came up with. And the second part is, I challenge all of you, when you're on Facebook and you see somebody claiming dogman, ask them, why do you call yourself a dogman? In their post, their comment, if they mention somebody they say is a dogman, why do you think they're a dogman? And then go ahead and tag me. I'm interested. Go ahead and tag me. So that's the homework I'm gonna give in today's live. When you hear somebody claim a dogman in a live, and don't expect, I'm not arguing with them, so I'm not getting caught up arguing with people. Because like my mama say, when you argue with a fool, to the person watching, you both look like fools. And that's something that's hard to remember when we're all out there on Facebook. So I'm not arguing with them. But here's the homework assignment. When you hear somebody claim they're a dogman, or they claim they know a dogman, or they claim, I think those are the two things, or they speak on dogman, ask them, you claimed you're a dogman. Why do you claim you're a dogman? You said this person's a dogman. Why do you say they're a dogman? If somebody says somebody's not a dogman, ask them, why do you say they're not a dogman? And then tag me to it. I'm not going to get involved. I just want to see. That's when I'm going to put up my emoji where the dude's just sitting looking around eating chicken. That's what I'm going to do every time somebody tags me to it. So I want to challenge the people watching this tonight, the live. That's the homework assignment. When people claim dogman, ask them why they're claiming it. Don't ask them what's the definition, because that makes it too general and you get caught up in some long thing. Ask them, why are you claiming you're a dogman? What experiences have you been through that make you a dogman? What experiences has this person been through that you're calling a dogman? And tag me to it, because I want to see what their answers are. That's going to be the homework assignment. Now, I'm going to grab the link. We've been here for 2 hours, but that's okay. That's what Tuesdays are for. Let me grab the link. If anybody wants to jump on, you got a topic. And as we're doing this, I'm going to make my way through the comments, especially on StreamYard. The Facebook comments, it's just too difficult. Why can't I find? Okay, here we go. Copy. And where'd it go? All right, nope. Where are we? Bam. There we go. All right, so I'm going to post the link. Why are all these notifications showing right up? There we go. Bam. All All right. So anybody want to join the live, you are welcome to join in. There is the link. I will pin it as I get through the comments. But WKRK9 said, to my understanding, the term dog. Well, we just went over that. But let's see what we call old back in the day. I agree with you. People try to wear that name as it's Cuban link. Agree 100%, and it is sad because when we start reducing the term dogman, they said I'm not supposed to show brands on YouTube. When we start reducing the term dogman, what happens is we start lowering our expectations of people, and you don't even need to be a dogman in the bully community or any community to breed good dogs. Rhodes, what's up, man? I'm gonna bring you on. Give me just a second. Taki Williams said game dogs for life at Pitbull Bell. Let's see. She said yes, sir. Let me see some other comments. Loyal clone equals genetically modified DNA, but it doesn't. I would think that modified, the word modified means changed. So if we're cloning it, doesn't that mean it's not changed? I'm gonna have to look into that because that is interesting. If I could clone old Floyd, I definitely would. Let's see here. Ray Garcia said ABKC and IBKC for. Oh no, okay, you were responding to Ray Garcia. I'm sweating. I need to get a fan. I need to have somebody turn on the air. That's what I get for trying to save money. Beth said cloning is crazy. And I would take off my shirt, but my wife got mad last time she saw me on here in a wife beater, or what I call slingshot, but they call them wife beaters now. Beth B said cloning is crazy expensive, and you only get one pup. Oh, so you only get one pup. That's what I was kind of thinking. They either keep or kill the rest of the litter. Okay, got you. That makes sense. So multiple pups, but they only keep that one. Yeah, I'm on here glistening. Let me go ahead and bring you on, Rhodes.
So
what's up, brother?
I want to show the people, brother. This is something I want to show the people here. This
Very
is what
good.
you need. This is what you need for your dogs. You put this in their water bowl. You do either, sometimes you can do a cap full to a 5-gallon, or it's up to your preference.
Yes, I agree 100%. I actually, what I do is I put I put apple cider vinegar plus a pinch of Himalayan sea salt in their water during the day. And then when I fill their water at night, then it's just pure water. The apple cider vinegar is very good for your dogs and also for you, but just a little bit because that vinegar smells strong. Look, that's your female?
This is Chaos Sister here.
Why is it not letting me enlarge you for some reason? It is not working. Bam, bam. Yeah, I don't know why it's not letting me. Okay, so whose sister?
This is Chaos Sister, the male that I brought on last time.
Yeah.
This is his
The red boy.
The female, the male right here. Come here, boy. Come here, boy.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, this is his littermate sister.
So now, for those who didn't see, go ahead.
Hill. What'd I say? Down. What did I say? Chaos. Thank you. Now, with these two dogs here, when you get these dogs DNA tested, what you will find in their blood is Bull Master, Bully, and Amstaff. That's all I crossed into these dogs. So this is why I took the red female back, because I didn't want to add the pit bull in. I decided not to do that. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna focus on my blood, which is with these two right here, because these are productions off my last litter.
Got you. And for those that don't know, he is planning on using his dogs focused on protection and hog work. They look good, dude. They look good, man.
Get out the way so I can show the people. They haven't seen her yet, but they've seen you already.
How far back is the Bull Master?
That's their mother's mother.
Got you. Got you.
She was crossed with the bull mastiff.
Got you.
I'm gonna put him in a kennel real quick so you can get a good look at her.
Okay, cool. And then,
Come here,
yeah,
boy.
while you doing that, I'm gonna go ahead and go through some other comments. That man's got some
Yeah.
dogs. Ooh, look at her. Let's see here. Okay? Y'all having your own little conversation in there.
Come here, baby. Good
Dude sitting
girl.
eating. That's my favorite one when I don't feel like arguing with nobody. Mr. J said, "Thanks always, and I'll be sure to keep the posts coming." Yes, definitely. Okay, so we caught up on here. All right, so yo, better stop cloning. Y'all seen Pet Cemetery? Exactly. Exactly. I've been there. That's funny you brought that movie up. All right, Facebook people, I'm gonna try to get to your comments, which is the most difficult part of these lives. Let me see here. This one is on my page. Jose Rios, I see your comment. Are we at okay? Said, what do you think of Bossy Kennels? I like the work that Bossy's done. I like what she's done definitely for herself, what she's done for the breed and getting the breed out there. The problem that I see is a lot of people like to trash Bossy Kennels, not realizing how many people claim they have Bossy Kennels and it's not really from Cat, the owner of Bossy Kennels. And that tends to be where you run into issues. People claiming that they've got a dog off Bossy Kennels when it's a dog Bossy Kennels is in the pedigree, but it ain't a dog that Cat said, okay, I'm gonna do this breeding. And I think when you judge kennels, you need to judge them by the people that own the kennels, not the people that bought dogs from the kennel. And that's the problem I see with Bossy Kennels is that their name is thrown on dogs that she has not called any shots on. And just some random person that's got two Bossy dogs, they breed them together and have nothing to do with her expectations. Um,
I was
Shorty
just
is a
watching
big
an
advocate
interview.
too. Uh-huh.
I was just watching an interview with her and BGK.
Yes, I've seen that interview.
Yeah, I
I
was just
have
watching
seen
that
that
today.
interview. Let's
Yes,
see.
sir. I was
Emmanuel
just watching that.
said, Toledo said, just throwing an idea out there for you. Have you ever thought of writing a book? I actually wrote a book that crashed and I on a computer that crashed. I got it basically the outline of the book, the rough draft of the book done. Never finished it. The computer I was on crashed. I still have that computer in the garage. That was about 15 years ago. Because sooner or later I will probably do that. What I am going to get into doing is doing ebooks on various topics. And it's just a matter of having the time. And then now that we're about to go, like I said, 10 toes down with this breeding next year, it's just a matter of having the time. But I am going to get into that. Derek White says Caesar is a whisperer. Everyone can't do what he do. He has a special talent. I agree 100%. And that's why I think it's dumb when people, try to trash him. Let me see here. What else we got going? What do I have to? Okay, so I have to find the Facebook comments. Hold on, I'm going to get you in just a second, Rhodes. And then on my page, and then the Facebook comments in the group. Let's see, the live in the group. Where is it? All right, I'm gonna get to those in a second. But yeah, Rhodes, I like her, dude. I like what you're doing too, dude. I like what you're doing.
Yeah, she's
So this is the first. Go ahead.
This is what was you about to say again? Go ahead.
I said this is the beginning of what you're doing for your bloodline, right?
Yes, sir.
And Tip, I see you about to jump. You want to jump in? Give me just a second. So this is the beginning phase. Yeah, dude. I like what I see you doing, dude. I like what I
Yeah,
see you doing, dude.
yeah. She's very
And
consistent to her mom, so this is why I brought her back because she's a clone of her mother.
got you, got
Yeah.
you,
And with my male, he
got
has a
you.
lot more drive. Like with him, he's very protective. She's protective too, but he he has a lot more drive than what she has. Like when I bring
Okay.
him out, when I bring him out right now, I'll show you how he is right now. Come here. Come on, girl.
Okay. Give me just a sec, Tip, and I'm gonna bring you on.
Let's go, boy. Come on.
Where you coming from? Huh? Who opened the door?
Come on.
Oh. Oh, you better not. One of these dogs might get you. Did you check out that song I told you to check out, that artist?
Come here.
All right, forget you then.
Hill. Good boy.
There he goes.
Now, when I tell him, watch how this boy focus, sit. What I say? Sit. Hey, sit. What I say? Hill. Okay, y'all. Sit. Listen. Listen. Watch. Watch. Watch.
Mm-hmm.
Where's it at?
Mm-hmm.
Watch. Watch. Where's it at, boy? Listen. Listen.
He looking to get it. That is a good looking boy.
Come. Hill. What did I say? Chaos. Hill. Good boy.
There he goes.
Yeah, I try to keep him on point. Him and his sister will be 2 years old on October 22nd.
For sure. I like what you working with, dude. Much respect. Much respect, dude. I like what you working with. Hey, dude,
Yeah.
let me bring somebody else on. And
Yeah, you know,
stay tuned in, man. Stay tuned in.
yeah, you know I'm already here
Thanks.
listening, man. I appreciate everything you're doing for me.
For sure. Much respect. All right. Tip, what you got going on, brother?
Yo, you can hear me?
Yeah, I hear you.
I bet. Man,
Oh,
I had a question.
you got a pocket?
Oh yeah, he a pocket. But I had a question for you.
Huh?
I was wondering,
Look at his chest.
could you tell me the difference between drive and traits? Like I know the difference, but me and my brother was having a real discussion one time about protection drive. And we was like, is protection a drive or is it a trait? And then I saw your first video you ever put on YouTube and how you were saying protection is protection drive. Now is it drive
Yes.
or is it so what's like and I also was thinking hold on. I was also thinking like when you was talking about fight drive, and then I would connect it. Hey, sit down. What I connected was pit bulls. American pit bull terriers have fight drive.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, get down. But the trait is, but gameness is a trait. So I just wanted you to, if you could talk on that a little bit.
Okay, so when you hear people talk about the temperament or the personality of a dog, dogs are very simple. They're not as complicated as people. So the temperament of a dog is based on a bunch of drives that make up that temperament. All these different drives: play drive, protection drive, food drive, sex drive, prey drive. All these different drives make up a dog's temperament.
Sick.
Within these drives, there are various thresholds. Those thresholds are the levels of that drive. So
the thresholds are like the range, like levels and range.
Exactly. So if you go ahead.
I was about to say you could almost gauge them from one to 10 if you wanted to.
Well, that's exactly how we breed. That's how me and my cousin breed when we're dealing with temperament. That's exactly how we breed.
That's what I was thinking.
For the best way to look at it in a visual, you ever been into a music studio?
Yeah.
Okay. So the mixer, that's the temperament. Okay. Then you have all these different little levels that you slide up and down. That is each of those levels. So the drums, that's one drive. The guitar, that's one drive. The hi-hat, that's another drive. The bass guitar, that's another drive. And then you're going to be setting them at different levels. Those levels that you set them at are the thresholds. So like with the pit bull or like the game dogs, the proven game dogs, they all have fight drive. They all want to initiate that fight. You get what I'm saying? And it's all a trait. They're all various traits. But the game dog, actual game is in the word, like this dog is proving that he's truly game, whether it's dead game, whatever you want to call it.
Like the deep gameness?
The deep gameness, that's a whole nother trait beyond fight drive. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I'm saying? And that's how it basically breaks down. They're all traits, but each of those traits that make up the threshold and make up the different drives, and all dogs have the same drives. They're just all set at different thresholds based off the breed and the genetics, and that's how it basically operates. And there, so it's all traits, and you want to breed accordingly. So like even with our breedings, we knew off jump we wanted a medium to high purpose drive in our dog. So when we say purpose drive, we mean a dog that wants to do whatever it is you decide you want to do. We can't say purpose and it only has one thing. You know what I'm saying? One activity. So we wanted to breed specifically for dogs that want to do random things. And so we pride ourselves in our breedings that by the time our dogs hit, you get a dog from us, by the time they hit 6 months, they're going to want to do whatever it is you want to do. By the time they hit a year, they're going to be addicted to it. And by the time they hit 1.5 to 2 years, they're going to perfect it.
So that's purpose
hiking,
drive.
That's purpose drive. You know what I mean? Because whatever the purpose is that you're
purpose,
giving it. Exactly. You know, in order to have a medium to high purpose drive, we have to have a high pack drive. We have to have a drive in that dog that wants to be with its pack and wants to please its pack, wants to protect its pack, because you're not going to get purpose drive if the dog don't have a high pack drive. You see what I'm saying? And so it's just like with gameness. You're not going to get a high gameness from a dog if he don't have a high fight drive. Fight drive is what initiates it. And that's how it pretty much works.
So the drives are made up of
they're all traits. Exactly. So, your temperament is made up of drives, and your drives are made up of thresholds.
And all those are traits.
And all of it is traits. All of it is traits. You know, so you have some, and traits are broken down into your genotype, which are the things that you can't see. You know, different diseases, illnesses, things like that. You know what I mean? And then some of those genotypes come into fruition through phenotype. So you have genotype, you have phenotype. Genotype is what you can't see. Phenotype is what you can see. A lot of people like to pretend that temperament and drives are not a phenotype, but they like to pretend that because they haven't learned to see it. Temperament is a phenotype. It's not a genotype. It's a phenotype because the more you learn about the more you learn about dogs, the more you're able to see it. The more of it that you're able to see.
Because you can identify the thresholds of the drives, right? Or
well,
identify the drives.
You can identify drives. Like two drives that confuse people are dominance drive and rank drive. They're two separate things, but very closely related. But the various drives the thresholds can't be seen unless you know how to push the dog in the direction of that drive. You see what I'm saying? So like Cardi Bull, for instance. So like with her, I don't consider her having a high prey drive, because she will walk out into our yard, and when she sees rabbits at midnight in our yard, she looks to me like, what do you want me to do? And if I say, just sit here, she'll sit there and just look at the rabbits with me. If I say, go get it, and she'll go all out. She has caught one rabbit, you know, and she brought it back. You know, she'll kill. She got lucky. She's fast, but she got lucky. That rabbit hit a wrong spot in the fence that didn't open up like he thought it was going to open up. And she, you know, caught it, killed it, brought it back to me. You know what I mean? But she's not what I would call a high prey drive dog. Now, my old man outside, he's about to be 15. Actually, he turns 15 in December. He's extremely high prey drive. There's no way he's going to walk out in the yard, see a rabbit, and not go full speed after it. It don't matter that, like, for instance, with her, part of the reasons that I know she's not high prey drive is because she knows her chances of catching it ain't that high. He don't care if he's going to catch it or not. He's going full speed after it. You know what I'm saying? He's extremely high prey driven, whether it's coyotes, bobcats, boar, he's hit all of it. You know what I mean? His prey drive is through the roof. So, you know, there's level to it. But now on the other hand, we have another female, Lady Justice. She is high prey drive. She's a Kobe daughter from DDK9, and her mom is off of Bully Blue Giants. But Justice is extremely high prey drive. She also has a certain amount of civil drive. Justice is very friendly with people, but if my cousin points and tells her to attack, she will attack a person, even if it's for no reason. You know what I mean? But other than that, if you don't tell her to, she'll run around playing with kids and people, and you'd never know it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But she does have a certain amount of civil drive. You got a good looking pocket. How old is he?
He's like 9 months now.
Okay, that boy's got so he hasn't even blown up yet. That boy's got a chest on him.
Yeah, the only thing I don't like about him, he's a little east-west. He's a little stiff in the stifles. And his rear angulation was off, but it's getting better. But I still gotta wait till he grow a little bit.
Yeah. But you see how he sits correctly?
Nah, what you mean?
You see sometimes bullies sit and they sit on their hips with their legs sticking out.
Like people?
Exactly. You see how he sits correctly each time? You can work on his angulation a little bit. If you keep having him sit and get up, just keep and also take the ball. When you're playing with the ball, you got to throw the ball up so that it causes him to, just like that. So it causes him to go back on his back legs. As you build those muscles in his back legs, it will cause his legs to constrict a little bit, and it'll help give you a little more angulation. Not a lot,
that was too high.
But it'll help give you a little more. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, and if you outside, you can throw it high up. You know what I mean? Also, if you got like a dirt hill or something around, that's good. But anything that makes him squat, get off his butt and go up, is going to build those muscles that'll help you get a little bit more rear angulation. Not much, but it will help with the rear angulation. Because he's willing to sit correctly, you can work with him a lot more.
Okay. And he got a lot of play drive. I wouldn't say he got a little bit of purpose drive and no prey drive. Like my girl, I could let I ain't gonna lie. When I be walking at night, sometimes it be rabbits and squirrels. I let it chase them. I just let go of the leash, and then I go
Ain't
get her.
nothing wrong with that.
Yeah. But him, he'll just look at me like, "What you want me to do?" But if I bring out the flirt pole or a rope or something, he's all day like, "I got a rope right here."
So then that kind of lets you know he does have a certain amount of purpose drive to him. And and purpose drive and play drive can be very confusing because they're very similar until you start working the dog. You put the dog in working scenarios, that's when you'll know how much purpose drive is there. But for right now, his play drive, he's into you. His play drive is there. His pack drive is there because he wants to do what you want to do. And then the rest is just, from there, you find those scenarios to test them. And if you got rabbits near you, let them run it. Rabbits boost the dog's intelligence level incredibly because the more you do it, the more those rabbits get used to you and your dog showing up, and the less they'll hit those bushes and those holes that they have. They'll start actually playing little games where they try to not actually hit the hole but stay out there. And when you get the dog and the rabbit into that relationship, you'd be surprised how much the dog's intelligence level just goes through the roof.
Because don't they gotta guess where the rabbit's gonna go and then try to cut them off and stuff like that? Like that's just
exactly. So like my bull lurcher, we used to have this one field where she learned when she would run straight out. Because sometimes the rabbits won't run. The ones that are off, they'll just kind of lay down and and fold their ears back all the way, so they're not as easily seen. So she learned that when my Jack Russell was with her, she would want a big, huge loop, full speed around the whole field, causing the rabbits to run into the middle rather than to the edges where they would get away. And then the Jack Russell would start catching the ones that were panicking and running through the middle because she wasn't much bigger than a rabbit. And then after that, she'd make her way back in and she'd start catching. And she'd get to the point where she'd catch 2 rabbits at a time. She'd catch one, snap it, throw it, catch another one, all in one stride. You know what I'm saying? And but the more they do, the more they'll learn off of it. But it looks like your phone went out. Tap back in if you want. Let me see these comments where we're at. All right, y'all, we about to get back off of here. All right, okay, you tap back in, bam.
Did it kick me out?
Yeah, it kicked you out. There you go.
All right. Yeah, I ain't know what happened, but you were talking. Jack Russell is real. The working ones is real. Don't play with them.
I'm. Uh-oh, is it not?
Am I still here?
Okay, there it goes. There it goes. I hear you.
Shoot.
Yeah, I had I was about to get a Patterdale, and I was just kind of building a pack, and I needed a small dog. And I came across her. She was working. She was inbred, and she was a great dog. She was a super great. She actually, I just put her down at 50. No, how old was she? She was 15. I just put her down last year. But she was an incredible dog. No training. She just did what she didn't sit, stay, none of that stuff. She just hunt. That was it. That was her thing. And caused drama in the yard. That was her thing. But yeah, man. Did you have any other questions? Can you hear me? Let me know if you guys can't hear me. Can you hear me? Let me see. Can you hear me? There's no sound. Okay. All right. Yeah, I can't hear you. Once you get that fixed, go ahead and jump back in if you want, especially if you have any more questions. Oh, it's getting hot in here. That's told them to turn on the air. Yeah, Belinda, I love Patterdales. Love them. Let's see where we're at. All right, y'all. We've been on here for 2.5 hours. I got some stuff I got to get into. Let me see. And scan through these comments. Mother back to son can be great for locking in the best traits. Exactly. I agree. A lot of people don't like going mother to son. They prefer to go daughter to dad. But I have seen some great breedings from mother to son. Matter of fact, my Floyd is inbred mother to son. He's 3/4 old family red nose, 1/4 boxer. So his mom, who was an old family red nose Norod line, accidentally bred to a boxer, produced a pup. That pup was then bred back to the mom, and that's how I got Floyd. Brad Goss said, do confirmation flaws get thrown out the window with game dogs? Oh, yeah. Yes, they definitely get thrown out the window when it comes to game dogs because all you're looking for is winners. That's it. All right, so Brad, we can't hear you. I'm gonna go ahead and throw you off real quick. Thanks for joining in, though. Let's see what's going on here. All right. Beth B said, what's your opinion on breeders that owns only bossy dogs and breeds only 2 bossy dogs and puts their kennel name on puppy papers, even though it's all bossy dogs? I don't know. I think they need to come up with their own kennel name. I think that's bad. And I think she has a lot of that going on. You know, you get these people who breed bossy dog to bossy dog, claim they're bossy, and then they want to claim they, and they're breeding dogs that she would never breed. So I have an issue with that. I think that's dishonest. But you'll notice those breeders don't have a kennel name, but they're claiming bossy. So I disagree with that. If she don't put her stamp on it, then you're not bossy, and it's not a bossy breed. Even if you bred 2 bossy dogs, she has to put her stamp on that. Let's see here. I need a mail from you, Daryl. Hope. All right, she's probably not pregnant because we've been experimenting with this whole progesterone and AIs and surgicals and all that stuff. So our last experiment of the American Bully World was we did progesterone reading. The vet said dog's ready to breed. I forgot what she was at. And then we did 1 AI just to see how it will work. So we'll see if that turns out pregnant. So if she does end up pregnant, Lady Justice, we will have some pups. We don't know how many because we do have pups that are promised out. Next year, though, towards the end of this year, next year, we have some heats coming, and we will start having pups, for the people that I'm cool with, and in the bully community. And but yeah, so if she's pregnant, we're probably gonna have to give those pups to people that are expecting pups from us, friends and people that have, know us word of mouth or know of our dogs word of mouth. And then next year we should have, dogs for a lot more people. We'll be going like truly all in with the bully community. Let's see. Belinda said, I got a 6-month-old pocket female that looks grown. She's a badass little girl. Can't wait till she matures. Yeah, I'm tripping off of Tips. His pocket, because I was thinking he was already at least a year and a half, but for 9 months, that boy's about to be built. Let's see. With anybody else, I'm gonna go ahead and log off. Let's see. Hold on. I don't have a problem taking a son back to a mother. I don't know if they're perfection. I've had great results, just as I have father-daughter, and taking them back. Let's see. Castro said, "Let me know if you ever do a Floyd breed." Floyd is done breeding. He's old. He still thinks he can breed, but yeah, he's old. Floyd's last litter was probably about, what are those dogs? Those dogs are about 6, 7 years old now. So yeah, Floyd's last litter was about 6 years old. But yeah, he is done breeding. Those offspring have been used for protection, and hog catching, coyote catching, bobcat catching, all the things that he did. That's what that litter has gone to. But most of them actually, especially his last litter, most of them went to pet homes. And his last litter, he was bred to a Razor's Edge female that I used to back him up in coyote hunting. She was a little bigger than him, but bad girl, Sasha. She was a good dog, but she was extremely driven. The breeder that had her was breeding his line of Razor's Edge strictly for drive. And I don't remember how I even came across him. Actually, he was doing weed deliveries. That's how I came across him. And we happened to be talking dog, and he said he had a line of Razor's Edge he didn't expect it, but their drive was through the roof. And he ended up giving us a female for free because he was in love with Floyd. So we gave him a pup out for that. And the rest of those pups, we went to, after testing her, seeing what I liked from her, he let me do a little work with her mom and dad. And I liked what I saw from them. And we ended up breeding her to Floyd. And yeah, it was a great breeding. And it was actually one of my few times where I bred dogs that I intended to be kind of just for pets, or that went to a lot of pet homes. And that's what that litter did. They went to pet homes, made great household protection dogs, and great members of those people's family. Even their productions get bred to boy dogs. What? Even their productions get breed to boy dogs. I'm not sure what you talk about, Beth. Bred. Oh, even their productions get bred to bossy dogs. Exactly. Okay, I got what you're saying. Said, let's see, Pitbull Bell said, I got you. Just don't forget me. Laugh out loud. And nah, I know. I know what you're looking for. So trust me. Trust me. I know what you're looking for. So I got you. Trust me. Seguenza said, thanks for the knowledge once again. No problem, man. Thanks for joining. WKR said, thanks, DT. Enjoyed the live. Thank you for joining in. That's going to sum it up. I think what we're going to switch to, some of the Facebook comments are showing, some are not. I think what we're going to do is switch to, basically, we just going to stick to the comments that are coming through YouTube. I hope the Facebook people join in, but I think that's what we're going to stick to, because I did like how last week, this last month, I wasn't able to post on Facebook, so therefore, I was forced just to deal with StreamYard on YouTube, and it just makes dealing with the comments a lot easier. So I think we might stick to that and then just share maybe the YouTube on Facebook and go from there. Professor X said, yo, do you not see the Facebook comments? No, I don't. And for some reason, you're on YouTube right now. So yeah, I can't see the Facebook's comments. They're popping up sometimes and then not other times. And then when I go to Facebook, it's like there's two locations. One is, it's just not bringing it all together for some reason. And it makes it extremely, see, now here's some showing up. Robert McCormick said, what up? What's up, bruh? Yeah, I'm having a hard time keeping up with it. Fred Duran, what's up, man? Thanks for joining in. See, now when I go to Facebook, now all of a sudden the comments are showing up. So I don't know. We'll figure this out. Or maybe what I'll do is I will forget about we'll stick to the comments on my page and the comments on YouTube. Because at least the ones on my page that aren't showing up, they're at least showing up on my page. So that's what I think we're going to go ahead and do from now on. That way it keeps it easier. Let's see here. But now it says 21 comments, yet it's only showing me 4 on Facebook. Jason Barr said, my female standard XL, 19 inches for first breeding. Should it be to an XL or standard, or does it matter? Eventually, they are going to, eventually ABKC has said they're going to start separating the classes. One, they're going to have to put a separation between the classes. So you figure it doesn't make sense if it's not noticeable. So it's probably going to be 2 to 3 inches. And then they are going to be saying you can't breed XL to standard and standard to pocket and vice versa. Like we have another experiment. We bred an XL who would be considered king, or be considered a. Now on my phone is showing more comments than it is on the computer. This is weird. Yeah, we're going to have to simplify this. But we bred king to a pocket. The breeding came out cool. We kept one male off of it. But eventually ABKC is going to, separate the classes where you're not allowed to breed class to class, and there will be a certain amount of inches between the classes. That's going to be interesting because it's going to really force breeders to have to truly breed. That's when you're going to find out who can breed and who can't, rather than just matching looks of a dog. Because at that point, you're not going to have those tweeners, those dogs that are in between, where are they going to go, especially for you guys who breed for show. So the other interesting part of it, and you figure they'll make an announcement, and then breeders will have, 2 to 3 or 4 years to get their breedings in line to what they're saying. But and this is all what Dave Wilson has said. But once they do that, it's going to be interesting to see, does the XL get bigger and the pocket get smaller? Do they adjust? Because the standard, I would assume they're going to leave the same 17 to 20 inches. So does that mean if you put 3 inches between the standard and the XL, is the XL going to become a bigger dog? Which would make sense, because at that point you would adjust the standard, the written standard for the XL. They would just have the same look, which is no different than you have with the Schnauzer. They don't have the same and they're not considered the same breed. They're all Schnauzers, but the miniature, the standard, and the giant Schnauzer are not the same breed. They're not considered the same breed. They're just all considered Schnauzers. And they have different written standards. Same look, though. Same breed type, but not same written standard. So I'm assuming the ABKC is going for breed type to be the same amongst all 4 classes. I don't know what they'll do with the classic, because I've never heard of a class that has the same height as another class within a breed. So I'm not sure how they'll work that, but you figure if you got the main 3, the pocket, the standard, and the XL, I'm assuming they will waiting to get the dogs more consistent. They'll put the separation between the classes. The dogs will all have the same breed type, but a different written standard. And then hopefully they'll allow the XL to have a little more oomph to it. Let's see here. What about Maya Angelou said? I didn't even realize what I was reading when I see it. And I see you all the time. I just never pronounced it out loud, so it clicked for the first time. What about Sid You saying sibling breedings, I think is what you're saying. It has to be perfect, especially with sibling breedings. I do know a dude that did a sibling breeding. The only thing he got was the dogs were a little stockier than what he was a little used to, and they were a little more driven. Now, what I never figured out, and I don't know if he figured it out, or were they more driven because they lost intelligence, or were they more driven because they were kind of crazy? So that we never, because I think I was only around those dogs till they were about a year old, and that's the only sibling breeding that I've had to actually be around for a length of time. What I would say with all this line breeding and inbreeding, your temperament needs to be perfect. You don't do line breeding until you've got perfect temperament in your yard. Then you can use line breeding to kind of fix structure because you've got those dogs they can go back to. And then when everything's perfect, both temperament and structure and ability and cognitive ability, that's when you do your inbreeding to lock it in. You know, line breeding helps lock it in and helps structure. So that's why you got to be careful with your line breeding. And then when it comes to inbreeding, everything has to be perfect. You do that inbreeding and then bam, you do a distant line breeding or outcross. I got to get out of here because I got to handle something for my wife before 9 o'clock, and we are 8:49. I'm going to, okay, see now I see your comment, Fred, and it's showing your name. I think what it is you guys that click on the link, maybe that's what it is. The StreamYard link. I think that's what it is. Those who haven't clicked on the link is not showing me their comments. Those who have, so because Robert McCormick's, but now Rob, why is it okay? But Robert McCormick's comment's not showing up, and I know it's there because I just saw it. All right, so I'm gonna have to figure that out, which means I'll be giving Robert McCormick a call because he's the one that helps me with all this stuff. But I'm going to, the other thing, you guys, with these lives, regardless when they end, the comments are still there. Doesn't mean you guys can't stop communicating with each other. But I'm gonna have to sign out because otherwise my wife's gonna kill me. We have done another 3-hour live. Yo, I'm out. Salute. I thank y'all for joining in, especially for y'all that's been on here for 3 hours with me. We are out. And yes, a couple people said don't shorten the lives. We're gonna just play them organically. 3 hours is a little much. I'm going to aim for an hour. I'm going to always try to aim for an hour. But if it goes on long, it is what it is. And salute, Fred. Thanks for joining in. Fred Duran is the guy I spoke to you about with, but now why is it not showing your comment? That's weird. Hold on. Okay, so that's Fred Duran with Primo Line Bullies. That's Dooley. That is my favorite dog in the game right now when it comes to structure and the written standard and the show ring. I got to actually put my hands on him. He is incredible. But that's the Fred Duran I was talking about earlier with Primo Line Bullies. He's got a lot of knowledge. He is also a confirmation show judge and might be the only person, definitely the only person I know that has 2 grand champions under his belt. And I'm out.